Squidward?
How do I know it's you?
Open the door, Nick!
You're late.
What?
Stone Cold ain't late. Stone Cold shows up when he's needed. Hey, get your damn feet off my TV before I whoop your ass. Don't piss me off, Frodo.
アメリカでは最大規模の失業者の集まりがノーキングエブイベントを開催されています。
The time for silence is over. We will not be ignored. Let me thank all the organizations that have made this great event possible.
重要的是，我们必须共同拥有一个统一的愿景，一个没有仇恨、没有国王的
行动将決定未來的樣子。一個沒有仇恨、沒有國王的。
なんという戦略だ。精神的な病を武器化するとは、まさに天才だな、ジョージ・ソロス。
You are a full-grown man. You should know not to harass children. The majority of people that you are being a dick to are children. Get off of here and stop harassing children! I'm a child and you are literally harassing me for no reason because I have a hobby! You have no...
Jake in the kitchen, bib on a kid, pan on a flame. Cross on his neck like a blade, eyes locked in, unashamed. Yeah. School lunch packed, then he straps boots tight, clock in, clock out, then he hunts all night, sees filth in the feed, he delete that quick, whole world twisted, he don't beg, don't flinch. One hand on the stroller, other hand cleaning streets, on his face got scars, on his tongue got heat. Single dead saga, still he walks straight lanes. He only fire in his face. Jake, righteous rage. Bible in his backpack, beast in the cage. Single dead soldier, carrying the load. Making side cash, flexing with his toes. Jake, break these chains. Smile on his face while he walks through flames. He's out here cleaning up all these roads. God in his heart and war in his songs. Little boy sleeping, he's scrolling through threats. Every new vice, get a name, get checked. He don't chase skirts, he chase praise. Whole lot of bills, still he keep pace. Got side hustles weird, but the bag legit. Haters talk wild till I see that grit. He still too bruised, still sharp, still clear. Lying in the sand, he don't cross that spear. Hands scarred up from the weight he lifts. Heart carved up from the ones who dip. But he never laid down, never lose that faith. Every swing he take got a holy Jake, righteous rage. Bible in his backpack, beast in the cage. Single dad soldier, carrying the load. Making side cash, flexing with his toes. Jake, break these chains. Smile on his face while he walks through flames. He's out here cleaning up all these roads. God in his heart and war in his soul.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. I had to work so hard to be on time. I'm never going to be on time. That's your April Fools. You got to be have an on-time stream once and once only. But we're already late to President Trump's address, which kind of prefaces the rest of what we're talking about on stream. So, Richard, how's it going?
Good.
Great. Fantastic. Anyways, here we go.
Thank you very much. My fellow Americans, good evening. Let me begin by congratulating the team at NASA and our brave astronauts on the successful launch of Artemis II. It was quite something. It will be traveling further than any manned rocket has ever flown and will very substantially pass the moon, go around it, and come back home from a distance that has never been done before. It's amazing.
I did watch the Artemis launch. Like, I don't know if you guys really care. It's like, hey, it took us 50 years to go around the moon again.
Bless those 4 unbelievable astronauts. As we speak this
If you're a
evening,
science
it's been
nerd, maybe
just
that's
1
cool.
month since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury, targeting the world's #1
APAC
state
Fury?
sponsor of terror, Iran. In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like few people have ever seen before. Tonight, Iran's Navy is gone. Their Air Force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them terrorist regime they led, are now dead. Their command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces. Very few of them left. Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks. Our enemies are losing, and America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning, and now winning bigger than ever before. Before discussing this current situation, I also want to thank our troops for the masterful job they did in taking the country of Venezuela in a matter of minutes. That hit was quick, lethal, violent, and respected by everyone all over the world. After rebuilding our military during my first term, we have by far the strongest military anywhere in the world, and now we're working along with Venezuela and are, in a true sense, joint venture partners. We're getting along incredibly well in the production and sale of massive amounts of oil and gas, the second largest reserves on Earth after the United States of America. We're now totally independent of the Middle East, and yet we are there to help. We don't have to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything they have, but we're there to help our allies.
I was going to say, yeah, Japan and Korea would beg to differ about that oil. UK would like their natural gas and all of the other things coming out of the Gulf. So, okay.
Fury is necessary for the safety of America and
Where'd the Venezuelan oil go again?
of the free world.
Well, Israel first.
From the very first day I announced my campaign for president in 2015, I have vowed that I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This fanatical regime has been chanting death to America, death to Israel for 47 years. Their proxies were behind the murder of 241 Americans in the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut, the slaughter of hundreds of our service members with roadside bombs. They were involved in the attack on the USS Cole, and they carried out the countless other heinous acts, including the just horrible, bloody atrocities of October 7th in Israel, something that most people have never seen anything like it.
Except for
This
America.
murderous regime also recently killed 45,000 of their own people who were protesting in Iran. 45,000 dead. For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. The most violent and thuggish regime on earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield. I will never let that happen, and neither should any of our past presidents. This situation has been going on for 47 years and should have been handled long before I arrived in office. I did many things during my 2 terms in office to stop the quest for nuclear weapons by Iran first, and perhaps most importantly, I killed General Qasem Soleimani in my first term. He was an evil genius, brilliant person, a horrible human being, however, the father of the roadside bomb, and he lived just horrible what he did. Iran would have been perhaps in far better, stronger position. Had he lived, we would have had probably a different conversation tonight. But you know what? We'd still be winning and winning big. And then, very importantly, I terminated Barack Hussein Obama's Iran nuclear deal, a disaster.
His
Obama
full
gave
legal
them
name, damn, he's in
$1.7
trouble.
billion in cash, green cash. Took it out of banks from Virginia, D.C., and Maryland, all the cash they had. He flew it by airplanes in an attempt to buy their respect and loyalty, but it didn't work. They laughed at our president and went on with their mission to have a nuclear bomb. His Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for Iran, and they would have had them years ago, and they would have used them. It would have been a different world. There would have been no Middle East and no Israel right now, in my opinion, the opinion of a lot of great experts.
Oh.
Where's the problem?
Oh. I take that. Sound like a good deal to you? Damn good deal.
Terrible deal. And I was so honored to do it. I was so proud to do it. It was so bad right from the beginning. Essentially, I did what no other president was willing to do. They made mistakes, and I am correcting them. My first preference was always the path of diplomacy, yet the regime continued their relentless quest for nuclear weapons and rejected every attempt at an agreement. For this reason, in June, I ordered a strike on Iran's key nuclear facilities, an Operation Midnight Hammer. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Those beautiful B-2 bombers performed magnificently. We totally obliterated those nuclear sites. The regime then sought to rebuild their nuclear program at a totally different location, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their.
Well, see, but that's the thing, though. It's so successful that we have to do it every 6 months in order to maintain its success. Or, you know, all the American foreign policy in Iran has just been kicking the can down the road for 40 years. You know, if we're going to be there at all, we're going to be involved in this stuff forever. Okay, as long as there's a certain player in the Middle East, we'll be there.
Pursuit of nuclear weapons. They were also rapidly building a vast stockpile of conventional ballistic missiles and would soon have had missiles that could reach the American homeland, Europe, and virtually any other place on Earth. Iran's strategy was so obvious.
Now, does that imply that our strategy was to simply drain their ballistic missile supply by making them shoot them? I know how to get rid of your missiles. You're going to shoot them all at us, okay? All right.
It works.
I mean, it technically does.
They wanted to produce as many missiles as possible, and they did, with the longest range possible. And they had some weapons that nobody believed they had. We just learned that out. We took them out. We took them all out so that no one would really dare stop them. And their race for a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon like nobody's ever seen before. They were right at the doorstep. For years, everyone has said that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. But in the end, those are just words if you're not willing to take action when the time comes. As I stated in my announcement of Operation Epic Fury, our objectives are very simple and clear. We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's Navy, which is now absolutely destroyed, hurting their Air Force and their missile program at levels never seen before, and annihilating their defense industrial base. We've done all of it. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their missiles are just about used up or beaten. Taken together, these actions will cripple Iran military, crush their ability to support terrorist proxies, and deny them the ability to build a nuclear bomb. Our armed forces have been extraordinary. There's never been anything like it militarily. Everyone is talking about it, and tonight I'm pleased to say that these core strategic objectives are nearing completion. As we celebrate this progress, we think especially of the 13 American warriors who have laid down their lives in this fight to prevent our children from ever having to face a nuclear Iran. Twice this past month, I've traveled to Dover Air Force Base, and it's been something. I wanted to be with those heroes as they return to American soil, and I was with them and their families, their parents, their wives, their husbands. We salute them, and now we must honor them by completing the mission for which they gave their lives. And every single one of the people, their loved ones said, please, sir, please finish the job, every one of them. And we are going to finish the job, and we're going to finish it very fast. We're getting very close. I want to thank our allies in the Middle East, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait, and Bahrain. They've been great, and we will not let them get hurt or fail in any way, shape, or form. Many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gasoline prices here at home. This short-term increase has been entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching deranged terror attacks against commercial oil tankers and neighboring.
No mention. Yeah, they stopped our oil flowing through the Gulf after we attacked them brutally. We killed their leader. We martyred their leader. And then these deranged animals, these Iranians, they closed the strait, which seems like a very good economic weapon for them. Isn't that crazy? That's wild that they just decided to do that one day.
Yeah.
Countries that have.
Yeah, literally gaslighting while there's burning oil tankers and burning oil fields and oil infrastructure in the background, being like, I can't believe Iran did this.
Nothing to do with the conflict. This is yet more proof that Iran can never be trusted with nuclear weapons. They will use them, and they will use them quickly. It would lead to decades of extortion, economic pain, and instability worse than we can ever imagine. The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat. You all know that. We built the strongest economy in history. We're going through it right now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we've taken a dead and crippled country. I hate to say that, but we were a dead and crippled country after the last administration and made it the hottest.
Well, I mean, America is kind of a dead country, present tense. I think that we have a few strands of hope left for America as it stands, but not much, right? We're kind of arguing over who gets the lion's share of the corpse at this point. Something else will be reborn from the ashes, of course. But yeah, America as it was has been dead since, you could argue that the death point was all the way back to the 1800s, or you could say the World War I, the Federal Reserve, or the Hart-Celler Act. Yeah, lots of different times. We're just kind of fighting over what's left right now. It's like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic at this point. It's like, I don't care who's in power, that they're both operating the same. I don't care who's at the wheel of the Titanic right now. Okay, I don't think it's making a whole lot of difference. Yeah.
Country anywhere in the world by far with no inflation.
America too, before GTA 6.
Investments coming into the United States over $18 trillion, and the highest stock market ever, with 53 all-time record highs in just 1 year. It all positioned us to get rid of a cancer that has long simmered. It's known as the nuclear Iran, and they didn't know what was coming. They've never imagined it. Remember, because of our Drill Baby Drill program, America has plenty of gas. We have so much gas. Under my leadership, we are #1 producer of oil and gas on the planet, without even discussing the millions of barrels that we're getting from Venezuela. Because of the Trump administration's policies, we produce more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Think of that, Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. And that number will soon be substantially higher than that. There's no country like us anywhere in the world, and we're in great shape for the future. The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait.
Yeah, kind of true, but that belays the fact that it restricts the global supply, which drives the global price of oil. right? And it especially negatively affects our allies, being Japan and South Korea in the region, while places like China and Russia have their oil free flowing. It also helps Russia because they heavily depend upon their oil exports. So when the price per barrel goes up, great for Russian economy.
And won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it. We've beaten and completely decimated Iran. They are decimated, both militarily.
See, that's not even true, right? A lot of their production is underground, so we don't know how much of it we can actually hit. We can hit anything that they have above ground at will. We have total dominance in the air. However, they have a 1,000,000-man army. So, yeah, in terms of like decimated, we've taken out maybe 1%. And again, all they have to do is say no. Nah, you're going to run out of bombs way before we run out of people or infrastructure. They just have to say, nah, no thanks. We'll just sit here. We'll keep making our missiles and making our drones underground. You'll try and run through something through the strait, and then we'll hit you. All Iran has to say is, nah, nope, no thanks. And this continues.
And economically and every other way. And the countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can do it easily. We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they.
So Shadow Force says Iraq had the 4th largest military in the world before we wiped it out. The size of the armies don't matter much. Yeah, how many troops did we lose in Iraq in a devastating ground invasion over the course of a decade and a half, right? We would, yes, of course, we can beat any army, of course, with 100,000 troops on the ground. Of course, we can do that. We're not going to be able to change the regime from the air. And that's everybody saying the exact same thing. We cannot just bomb them into submission. All they have to say is no. Now, if we land 100,000 troops or some sort of coalition of troops with like the UAE and some other people, then we could probably take out the army. Yeah, of course. But
You can't bomb
I don't
them
think
into submission, but you can bomb them out of existence.
You can't. No, we do not have enough bombs. I mean, unless you're going to nuclear bomb them. No, we do not have enough bombs to remove the Iranian regime. That will not happen.
So desperately depend on. So to those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves.
Japan and South Korea.
I have a suggestion. Number one, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And number two, build up some delayed courage.
I know that we can defeat them. America has the best military in the world. I know that we can with a ground invasion. Yes, I'm not contesting the fact that we have the best military on the planet. However, it has to be boots on the ground. That's the only way to get that done.
Should have done it before, should have done it with us as we asked. Go to the strait and just take it, protect it, use it for yourselves. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done, so it should be easy. And in any event, when
we don't listen, Tom, we don't want to do anything. As far as I'm concerned, I was never asked or consulted upon the invasion, what I wanted personally. So I don't know what we personally get out of this. Okay. But I don't think they're thinking about us.
This conflict is over. The strait will open up naturally. It'll just open up naturally. They're going to want to be able to sell oil because that's all they have to try.
But they are selling oil to Russia and China.
They never stopped.
Yeah, they've been trading the entire time. And honestly, also, they've been charging $2 million per freighter to go for safe passage. So it's funny, not only are they still selling oil, but we've given them an additional revenue stream by like tolling. You pay a toll fee to get through the Strait of Hormuz safely at $2 million a freighter. So, that could be, I forget the exact numbers. It was billions of dollars a month or something like that with the amount of freighters that go through if everybody pays the $2 million fee, right? So, yeah, we gave them an additional revenue stream. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, the longer it stays closed for them, the better it is.
Try and rebuild. It will resume the flowing and the gas prices will rapidly come back down. Stock prices will rapidly go back up. They haven't come down very much, frankly. They came
2
down
weeks
a
to
little
flatten
bit,
it
but
straight.
they've had some very good
I don't
days
care
over
about the
last
Dow
couple
being at
of days.
50K.
We've done actually much better than I thought, but we had to take that little journey to Iran to get rid of this horrible threat. With our historic tax cuts, where people are just now talking about receiving larger refunds than they ever thought possible. They are getting so much more money than they thought. That's from the great big beautiful bill.
Okay, I will say some people out there for sure, if you are a blue collar worker and you work a lot of overtime, that could save you like $10,000 in taxes, which is actually like base for you guys, right? As a degenerate streamer, I also didn't have, tips taxed in the same way. So that saved me a lot of money as well. But if you're outside of those two categories, didn't really affect your taxes all that much.
Economy is strong and improving by the day, and it will soon be roaring back like never before. It will top the levels that it was a month ago. I've made clear from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will...
Yes, Lemon Grenade has it right. Super chats are tips. And there were a lot of tips last year, let me tell you.
Continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them.
Okay, so I'm going to back it up like 5 seconds there. So we are, even though we're technically in like a 10-day ceasefire till the 6th, but he's saying that we're going to keep hitting them. So are we stop hitting them till the 6th? And then like, hey guys, by the way, on the 6th, we're going to start hitting you hard again. So what is the point of the peace talks? Although, the peace talks always in quotation marks because nobody actually wants peace from what I can tell.
America's military objectives shortly, very shortly.
Peace fire.
We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead.
I don't know if regime change means the same thing in this context. Yes, you've replaced the people, but it's literally Khomeini's son that's in charge. So, if you're just saying that there's physically new people in power, yes, that's technically true, but it's the same regime.
The new group.
What do you think about the claims that Khomeini's son is gay?
It's like, listen, anything coming out of Iran, if it's from the Iranians, I don't trust it. If it's from the Americans, I don't trust it. If it's from the Mossad, I don't trust it. So it's like the CIA tells me my enemy is gay. I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed. I don't know why I'm there. Why do I need to be concerned that some Persian dude is gay? Like I can't even be bothered to care about that. The gay Ayatollah. True, it's funny. It's like, if true, funny. But I don't really care.
I thought it was hilarious.
Group is less radical and much more reasonable. Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their generating plans very hard and probably simultaneously. We have not hit their oil, even though that's the easiest target of all, because it would not give them even a small chance of survival or rebuilding.
Well, I think it's also tactical because they know once we hit their oil, it is going to shut off their money supply, right? Except for the Strait of Hormuz, right? In terms of tolls. But then they have no incentive not to just hit every oil field in the region. And again, it doesn't really matter that much for America because we don't get that much oil from there. But for Japan, Australia, UK, South Korea, it's gonna hit them very hard. Very, very hard.
But we could hit it and it would be gone, and there's not a thing they could do about it. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar is 100% annihilated. We are unstoppable as a military force. The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take months to get near the nuclear dust, and we have it under intense satellite surveillance and control. If we see them make a move, even a move for it, we'll hit them with missiles very hard again. We have all the cards, they have none. It's very important that we keep this conflict in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year, 7 months, and 5 days.
Oh, bro. Are we equating our involvement in Iran to a world war? My dude, I would prefer you not level that rhetoric. Listen, we're going in with a coalition after we assassinated a leader of a country for some reason, and we're just going to start mucking about in the world economy and hope nobody else joins in. Yeah, one of our other big players is currently at war with Ukraine, which we're supporting, and then the other one, China, wants to take, Taiwan. And I hope things don't just kick off on a, world scale because of this. I know. People are already saying we're in the early stages of World War III. We're just coping about it. I mean, that we're coping about, like, not being in it right now. It's all smoke and mirrors until after the fact.
World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted for 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days. Iraq went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in this military operation so powerful, so brilliant, against one of the most powerful countries for...
Well, Turkey's already the next goal. That's what Israel has said openly. They're like, listen, once we get rid of Iran, the biggest threat in the region is Turkey, which is technically a member of NATO. Now, as much as I would like to get rid of NATO in its entirety and kind of get back to... I guess Monroe Doctrine would be the closest thing that I would prefer. But yeah, Turkey is already the next enemy of Israel, which means that they're the next enemy of America.
I'm surprised they went with Turkey and not Egypt.
Well, we already pay Egypt to do it, and they're so corrupt and retarded. I mean, they're like technically there, and they will eventually take them, but Turkey's more of a military threat, right? So like Israel somehow vetoed our sale of F-35s to Turkey because they don't want Turkey having F-35s because they plan to go after Turkey at some point geopolitically in the next 20 to 30 years.
32 days, and the country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat. They were the bully of the Middle East, but they're the bully no longer. This is a true investment in your children and your grandchildren's future. The whole world is watching, and they can't leave the power, strength, and brilliance. They just can't believe what they're seeing.
Yeah, the reason why the F-35 sucks so much is because it's a multi-role fighter, and it doesn't suck. It does its job. It does what it's supposed to do, okay? It's not a dog fighter. It's not an A-10. It's a multi-role fighter, so it's very wide in its application. And if it actually truly did suck, we wouldn't be selling it to everyone, and Israel wouldn't be afraid of us selling it to somebody they consider an enemy. I get the F-35 hate. I mean, it's an expensive program, but it does what it's supposed to do.
They leave it to your imagination, but they can't believe what they're seeing, the brilliance of the United States military. Tonight, every American can look forward to a day when we are finally free from the wickedness of Iranian aggression and the specter of nuclear blackmail. Because of the actions we have taken, we are on the...
Nuclear blackmail? Like what Israel...
What?
Like the Samson option? Like when they killed JFK for trying to stop them? Like when they sold our secrets to Russia? What? Nuclear blackmail? That's crazy, dude.
Cusp of ending Iran's sinister threat to America and the world. And I'll tell you, the world is watching. And when we do, when it's all over, the United States will be safer, stronger, more prosperous, and greater than it has ever been before. May God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much, and good night.
Oh, that was it? That was literally it. Yeah, that was retarded. The only information I got out of that was, by the way, if in 5 days, was that Friday? No, it's like Monday. If on Monday we don't come to a peace agreement with the new Ayatollah, the gay Ayatollah, we are going to continue pounding them. We're going to pound that gay man into submission or something like that, which we were going to do anyways. So more war. That's what I heard there. More war. Now, earlier today, what's his face? Marco Rubio, future supreme ruler of the world, said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna get a coalition together. We're gonna get the boys back in town. The UAE is gonna join us in a projected attack or a coalition to take out Iran. I'm sure that's gonna work." I do have one question though. There is another country in the region that it seems to be in its best interest to put boots on the ground should a event like that occur, and they seem not to want to, which is strange.
Secretary Rubio, thank you for talking to Al Jazeera. You're speaking to a global. Let me start by asking you this: have formal talks begun with Iran, or are they still in direct communications, exploring common ground?
And I think the president always prefers diplomacy, always prefers an outcome, and we could have done this before. I mean, imagine an Iranian regime who, instead of spending billions of dollars supporting terrorist groups and building up all these weapons, had invested that money into Iran.
Main demands for Iran at this particular stage of the war.
Iran can never, the Iranian regime can, if what they want is nuclear energy, there are multiple countries in the region that have or will soon have nuclear energy, and they're going to do it through a well-established mechanism that everyone else has agreed to. And that is that you allow imported fuel you import the fuel, and that fuel is used to power up your power grid and provide energy resources for your people.
Consider to be the minimum concession from Tehran to bring this conflict to an end.
I think that what they cannot have is a system that allows them to quickly weaponize it. They have to stop making all of these drones and all of these missiles. We saw recently where they've lied. They said they didn't have long-range missiles, and then they fired 2.
The Strait of Hormuz is secure enough to restore.
Now, we've heard that rhetoric be thrown around a little bit. And here's my conspiratorial brain, okay? They say that Iran now has capabilities to hit Europe, to hit London with their long-range ballistic missiles. So what if, hypothetically, there was a false flag attack involving an Iranian missile landing in Berlin, landing in London, landing in Paris, and it just was launched from Iran. Yep, it was definitely launched from Iran, and it had like a death to the Goy, or sorry, death to the Kafir written on it or something. And, just like the passport that was found that identified it right back to Iran. I'm just saying, like, it could be possible, right? My conspiratorial mind here.
The flow of oil and
Why would they bomb a Muslim city?
That's
Good
what I was
point.
just wondering.
Good point. All right. Damn it. Not Paris, not London. I don't know much about Berlin. I imagine it's not in much better shape. But I mean, they'll pick one. What's the most white city we could hit? That's funny.
into global markets.
Poland, somewhere in Poland.
Yeah, probably Poland. But they don't want Poland, though. They want Germany or the UK or one of the big players in the region to join the war.
Yeah.
Dubai.
Straits of Hormuz will be open.
That's right. The white sanctuary city of Dubai. Yes, we're going to hit Dubai. Although they've already been doing that. So that didn't quite work.
When this operation is over, it will be open, and it'll be open one way or another. It will be open because Iran agrees to abide by international law and not block the commercial waterway, or a coalition of nations from around the world and the region, with the participation of the United States, will make sure that it's open. One way or the other, it's going to be open.
Strait of Hormuz is not going to be the only focal point for you, because with the Houthis stepping in and firing missiles into Israel.
But we have very clear objectives that we're trying to achieve here. Those objectives are the destruction of their Air Force, which has been achieved, the destruction of their Navy, which has largely been achieved, a significant reduction in the number of missile launchers that they have, which we're well on our way to achieving, and we are going to destroy the factories that make those missiles and those drones that they are using to attack their neighbors and the United States.
Do they plan on just using bunker busters for that? Because from what I'm aware, it is very difficult to actually take out the facilities. And if we knew where they were, they're pretty static, so we could just drop as many Moabs and bunker busters on top of them as we wanted to. So what's stopping us from just doing that? Because if it's just that, we need to clean up a little bit more of their missile launching capabilities, and we need to destroy their ballistic missile and drone production. Like, if we just do those things, can we be done now? Can we be done now? Can we leave now? Can it be over?
And our presence in the region.
The cities bombed almost on a daily basis, and they're looking for a clear path.
Our objectives here from the very beginning had nothing to do with the leadership, but would we love to see a difference? Do we think the people of Iran deserve better leadership than what they've gotten from the...
Full Metal Jacket says, John, imitate our Lord and have mercy. I can't take it any longer. Okay, well, anyways, the only real point of this clip, other than kind of the regurgitation of the rhetoric coming out of the administration, is that we're almost done. We're almost there. It'll be over in a minute. But also, you know, maybe we'll have the UAE join us in a ground invasion or to hold the Strait by force. You know, we've already asked the UK. We've asked Japan, Korea, maybe even Australia. We've asked like 8 countries to come together and help us open the Strait by sending, you know, blood and treasure into there. So good luck with that. Could get worse. Now there's a well, we'll check this out just for the heck of it. This is a failed interception of a Sahid drone heading towards a oil depot. And I don't know how the F-15 fails to hit it. So an F-15 is attempting to do a gun run on a Sahid drone, and the pilot he doesn't get it. So I don't know if he ran out of ammo, he missed, but he pulls away, doesn't get it, and it just goes on to strike its target. So I'm not sure if he just ran out of ammo because he was slapping down other drones and he just didn't manage to hit it with whatever he had left. But we're now getting drone v F-15 dogfights over Iraq right now. And that's probably the only air-to-air kills these guys are going to get anytime soon. As you can see in there, like getting really damn close to it, way closer than I would like to be to a explosive piece of metal flying. But it's not able to take it out. And then, of course, following up on that, there was also an address in the UK and Australia. At the same time, I'm not listening to the other ones because I barely care about, you know, our own administration's thoughts on it. And unless somebody's declaring that they're moving troops into the region, which I'm sure I'll hear about one way or the other, I'm not particularly interested in what Keir Starmer has to say. Now, looking at oil prices today, which of course, they're still up, they're still high, just under $100 a barrel. It's been floating between 98 and 102 last couple of days, which is again up from 80 pre-war, down from the height of 120 just a couple days after the war started. So again, depending on how long this goes, if it continues, which that would be my guess, that's what everybody's saying. Trump is saying 2 to 3 weeks after March 6th or May 6th, in April 6th, sorry, in 5 days from now. So we could see it stretch out to the end of this month in the shortest scenario so far, push forward, which would mean that it would probably continue to go up. You could see 120, 150, and some people are saying up to $200 in oil. Now, what do we care about, though? We here on this show, this is a gun show. This is a gun YouTuber drama fest, and we care about fear porn maxing and panic buying. So I'm looking at it right now. I was looking at it during the Trump speech. I had to Google, okay, what is new 5.56 and 223 cost right now? And it's hovering at 40 cents a round for 223. For brand new, free shipping, 40 cents a round for 223, which is
all the videos.
Even with all the videos, it's crazy. It's crazy. All the panic buying, all the rush. 223 is sitting at about 40 to 42 cents a round for the good stuff. Okay. And then I looked at 9mm sitting at about 24, 25, 26. So if anything, it's moved 1 or 2 cents up. Doesn't really seem like a big panic buying. I just looked at it like 6-7 minutes ago. The number. But yeah, 25, 26, 24, somewhere in that range for new 9mm, about 40 to 42 cents for 5.56, 223. Very normal rates. It's normal. It looks fine. You know, I'm sure some people were like, oh, but my specialty whiz-bang ammo is out of stock. And it's like, well, yeah, obviously the more niche, you know, like certain match ammos or certain low production, they're going to not prioritize restocking those, as they are going to prioritize restocking the more normal ball rounds, so stuff that's simpler, cheaper to produce. So you will probably see reduced stock of certain types of ammunition, but by and large, ammo remains in stock and available to purchase. at your convenience. Now, I fortunately missed all of the shenanigans going, the queen-anigans going on in the Supreme Court today. I know Trump was there for about an hour and a half before he left, hearing the arguments to end birthright citizenship. Now, I do want to make my position clear on birthright citizenship. I think it is a total fraud, a total miscarriage of justice, and it will naturally destabilize and ruin any country over the long term. So if I can, somehow sneak, if I'm a nefarious person or even not a nefarious person, if I can sneak my pregnant wife into a country that has like free healthcare and welfare and all these wonderful things, and I just manage to get her across the border right before that baby pops out, it's like, whew, American citizen. Oh, now you got to give me that welfare, give me that Medicare, give me all the free stuff, baby. Whew, I'm just as American as you are. I'm here. I don't even speak the language. My wife doesn't speak the language, but the baby was born on this piece of magic dirt. Therefore, take care of it right now. And of course, I'm going to reap the benefits of it.
Gives me that.
Yeah, it's essentially gives me that mentality. And the whole system has been so used and abused, and it's taken advantage so much of that. It's a thing to have an anchor baby. That is a real term. Now, maybe in some world, if you're like, okay, liberal John is going to try and steal man birthright citizenship, maybe for somebody who's here on a visa, who's like trying to become a permanent resident and has been here for 5 years, maybe if they have a baby here, maybe that's something you could consider. I personally wouldn't, but liberal John could steal man some lighter, more restrictive form of this, but just carte blanche, birthright citizenship should end. And it is funny that Trump appointed the I forget the woman's name.
Amy Coney Barrett.
That's the one, Barrett, who has 2 Haitian children that she's adopted. Now, again, I agree with Joel Webbin on this. I saw him talk about this earlier, that the womanly instincts, the maternal instincts of taking care of children, of the weak, of the needy, works great within the household context, works great within the community context. They are great assets to the church in terms of their kindness and compassion. It does not work on a societal level. And that sort of compassion before reason, that sort of just suicidal empathy is a good way to put it, is not great when you give them any level of power. And so, of course, it's like, we could have a real country with rules that benefits the people here, but that would be kind of mean to somebody. So we can't do that. Like, listen, we could enforce the law, but that would be mean. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. So, and of course, Ketanji Brown Jackson has said some of the silliest things imaginable, as she often does. In fact, I think, every time she opens her mouth, Clarence Thomas says, like, listen, I know we're like the same color, but please don't think of us as equals. All right. The fate of the republic hinges on whether or not one specific middle-aged white woman is willing to be slightly mean to minorities. And it's not even being mean. It's like, no, you don't have a right to my citizens' stuff because you popped a baby out on the other side of a border. Okay, because you illegally came here and had an anchor baby, it does not grant you the right to steal from my people. That's just not how that works. And it appears President Trump will need Amy Coney Barrett for a chance to end birthright citizenship for illegal migrants. And again, it's like, it's such an obvious destruction of what America means. If a children of like a terrorist, an illegal immigrant, anybody who comes into the country is immediately American, and then they have the right to vote to then steal even more of the native-born population stuff, like the whole system falls. The whole system falls apart. You are not being kind. You are being the most mean, the most deceitful to your own people, right? You're coercing, or even by force, taking from your own populace to give to an invading populace, right? Now, let me see here. I have somewhere around here. Well, actually, here's Polymarket. According to Polymarket Bros, it's over, okay? This is probably our last chance to end birthright citizenship for illegals, and it has a 94% chance of being struck down, which means that it will remain in place, right? So SCOTUS strikes down Trump's birthright citizenship executive order, which ended it, of course, but they have a 94% chance of striking that down, which would mean that it would remain in place. And yes, we are going to get to Chinese birth tourism as well. Like, people literally exploit the system to take advantage of you, to take advantage of the natural-born population and to extort you at the point of a gun. Now, somewhere around here, I have a video of Ketanji Brown Jackson, which I do apologize for in advance, but you have to bear with me for a moment because I think it is important and relevant. Although this is also a funny little meme in the meantime. Where did I put that video? Gosh dang it. Because of course, oh, here it is. I got it. So, of course, when asked about this, Ketanji Brown Jackson on the right there, as you could probably tell, she says, listen, if I was stealing some Japanese wallet, it's like, really, that's the first analogy that pops into your head?
And I was thinking, I, a U.S. citizen, am visiting Japan. And what it means is that, if I steal someone's wallet in Japan.
Mrs. Brown Jackson, is there a reason why you went to that first? Oh, no, get away from me. I don't have no banana.
Well,
what's that?
Do Japanese people have bikes?
They do. Yeah.
And I was thinking, I, a U.S. citizen, am visiting Japan. And what it means is that, if I steal someone's wallet in Japan, the Japanese authorities can arrest me and prosecute me. It's allegiance, meaning can they control you as a matter of law?
That's not allegiance, that's jurisdiction, which you should know the difference between allegiance and jurisdiction, right? So an illegal immigrant, just because he is subject to our laws, because we have jurisdiction here, does not mean has pledged allegiance to us. How insane are you? Imagine it's like, well, there's an invading army on the southern border, and they're here, and they're subject to our laws, and we're going to try and enforce our laws, and that means they have allegiance to us. Like, that's the argument that she's trying to make. No, they don't have allegiance to us. We have jurisdiction over them. We have authority over them. And of course, she says theft, which the theft argument is real, by the way. If you go into Japan and try to steal a wallet, Mrs. Brown, they have the right to then punish you for that action. You, as somebody who came into the country to steal resources, do not then have a right to that country's resources, right? In this case, instead of stealing a wallet, you're having a baby, right? So just breaking into a country, like imagine breaking into somebody's house, having a baby on their carpet, and then being like, all right, take care of it. Come on, needs a new diaper. Come on, let's go right now. You'd be like, no, of course that's not reasonable. Of course that doesn't make sense. You don't get to break in here and then become a burden on everybody living in this household. No, we still get to remove you and your child. Now, we could take care of you in the process of kicking you out, but you don't get to be here. You certainly have no right to be here. You have no right to everybody else's stuff. That's complete nonsense. And then the black justice says, well, if I was stealing a wallet, you see.
Japan, the Japanese authorities can arrest me and prosecute me. It's allegiance, meaning can they control you as a matter of law. I can also rely on them if my wallet is stolen to, under Japanese law, go and prosecute the person who has stolen it. So there's this relationship based on, even though I'm a temporary traveler, I'm just on vacation in Japan, I'm still locally owing allegiance in that.
Jurisdiction, authority, not allegiance. No, I am subject. Like if I go to Japan, I am subject to their laws, right? I don't swear allegiance to Japan. I'm subject to their laws, and to the best of my abilities, I'd respect their laws because I'm a good human, right? Some other travelers in Japan, not so much.
Sense. Is that the right way to think about it? And if so, doesn't that explain why both temporary residents and undocumented people would have that kind of quote unquote allegiance just by virtue of being.
No, again, if you break into somebody's house, take a dump on their carpet and say, all right, clean it up now. Also, when's breakfast? Doesn't work that way, or at least it should not work that way. It currently does work that way. And these retards in power, like that's the thing, right? Democracy, kind of a mistake, okay? Especially full franchise democracy. You know, there were certain roadblocks or certain safety guardrails put up in the beginning where we all just had a little bit more rational understanding of who should and should not vote. But once you give it universal suffrage, right, this idea of universal rights while having not universal principles or ontology, a complete failure, a complete destruction of any sort of possibility of a cohesive society. And that's what we're seeing. Like, people are decrying the tribalism. Everybody's becoming more tribal. It's crazy. It's like, well, listen, at some point there are limited resources, okay? And in democracy, if you band together with your people or people who are like-minded, whether that be ethnic, racial, you know, it could be ideological in some cases, or a combination of all three, which I think is the most common, is a racial and ideological group. You can then acquire power, and then you can use that power to take other people's stuff. It's really nice. And so democracy will always boil down to my group voting against your group and your group attempting to take from my group. That's just how it goes. We have this kind of mythology of infinite resources, right? Especially in America and the West. We're like, well, listen, nobody's going to run out of food. Nobody's going to run out of gas. Nobody's going to run out of shelter or whatever it's going to be. That's not the case for most of human history, right? And so once you do realize that there is some level of a zero-sum game, not entirely, of course, but there on some level, on some base level, there is a bit of a zero-sum game going on. And, you know, I import 50 million or 100 million illegal immigrants from South America, and it turns out I give them voting rights, and in 20 years they can just vote to take my stuff. Well, why wouldn't they do that? What's stopping them from doing that? It's within our legal framework for them to do that, so they'd be voting against their best interests if they didn't attempt to steal my stuff. Right? I mean, it's like you can be an African American in this country and be a net negative taxpayer and then vote how to take other people's tax money to yourself. Right? Obviously that shouldn't be the case. Obviously, we shouldn't have universal rights. I think that this myth of the blank slate of equality or equity in any way, shape, or form is just not true, has never been true, and it is a failed Enlightenment ideal that will return to normalcy at some point. Yeah. And it's like, do I fight to keep democracy? What, so that I can import 50 million Browns and they can vote against me and my family, and importantly, my children and my grandchildren? Because again, if you just legalize 50 million illegals that are in the country right now, and you say, okay, you have legal status now and you can vote, of course it's going to be horrible now. But then in 50 years, 2 generations go by and it's going to be even worse. And I actually care about my children. I actually care about my grandchildren and want to leave something that's better for them than what I had. So I'd much rather it be difficult now for me than less difficult for them, although it still will be. Anyways, yeah, and people just know that this is a silly system. The rest of the world is like, of course we would take advantage of your system. We would be stupid not to. So U.S. territory turned tropical maternity ward has produced thousands of quote-unquote American babies for parents living in China. China literally has birthing tourism so that they can have a dual citizen, because that makes a lot of sense. That helps them with a lot of their goals, right? Whether it's just economic, whether it's social, whether it's political in terms of infiltration or whatnot, it makes sense for them. Why wouldn't they take advantage of your generosity, right? Because you think like, oh, this is nice and it's kind and it'll help us, and, you know, we got to be good, vaguely nice, I guess, in some nebulous way to one another. And then the rest of the world is like, oh, perfect, I'm going to steal that. I'm going to take advantage of that. And I don't care about you. I'm just doing it for my people's good. And of course, you are hurting your own native population, because at some point, you just have to say no to foreigners. Okay? You got to be like mildly mean. And it's not even mean. It's just saying, no, you don't get to steal our resources. No, you don't have a right to come into my house and take my stuff. That's it. This is ours. That's yours. And you don't have a right to what we have. Okay? It's just that simple. Just that simple. All right. Well, that took a full hour of the show. Gosh dang it. Before we even get to silly gun news, dude. But we're going to get to your guys' support real fast. And then we have got a lot of actual fun news to talk about. Okay, we got Caracal winning a contract with their not good rifle. Their bad rifle won a contract. Bear Creek Arsenal kind of makes an AK. Kind of. Charles Reed Knight II sells his collection of extremely rare firearms so that he can fund his son's legal defenses. Allegedly. Okay, there's just some implications there. Not saying that's necessarily the case, but he's selling some extremely rare firearms to pay for that. Glock still getting sued, and a Secret Service agent shoots himself in the butt. But we'll get to your guys' support real fast and then actually have some real gun news for once, okay? Jeez. You think this was a gun show with all the gun news we talk about? Zany for 5 says, give us a little big toe money to start this party. Christ is king. Christ is king. Thank you. Here's a little bit, okay? For 5, you get a little bit.
This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is...
All right, a little bit. Thank you, Zanyco. Appreciate that. Hope you're having a good Wednesday night. Logan sucks at shooting for 2 says, Lena is the only good UMP9. She's very good. Very, very good at that. Thank you, Logan. Appreciate that. I've never shot a real UMP9 though. Although I know everybody hates them more than the MP5, and so it's like one of those weird firearms that exists for some reason. Lightspore for 2 says BCA and PSA having a nuke off for AKs. Yeah, who can blow the hardest between PSA and BCA? Who can blow the hardest? Thank you, Lightspore. Appreciate that. Grizzly Bear for 5, dude. That's a good name. I'm back after a long winter's nap. I'm back, baby, and oh, I'm hungry. Oh, hi, John. He's looking for that John meat, that grizzly bear. Scary little man there. Okay. Lightsport for 2 says, John, I had a $500 poly bet on you being late. WTF. The only time to not bet on me being late is April Fool's. That's it. Thank you, Lightsport. St. John's Crusade for 2 says, be the American the Japanese people think you are. Very true. Very true. Yeah, it's like Eastern propaganda about Americans, I wish held true. You know, I wish it was all real all the time. It'd be way more based. Thank you, St. John's Crusade. Chud for 2 says, I love people of color and the Jews are great. Great super chat for April Fools. Bull Shark for 5 says, on time and a video in the morning. Dude is operating on normal people time for once. Dude, maybe I'm just rebellious. You know, maybe I have like an anti-authoritarian streak in me somewhere. But I hated having to be on time for anything. It was really obnoxious, you know, like when I'm 60 seconds late and you're talking to me about this, like, who do you think you are, boss? You know, maybe it's just me. Jury Seller for 2 says, yo, what's up, my fellow patriots? America, US, US, US. True. Thank you, Jury Seller. Hope you're doing well. Lightspore for 2 says, unironically, intro music goes hard for the gym. Yeah, I'm glad you like that. You got to thank Andrew over at Around the Fire LLC. He has a YouTube channel. You should go check it out. He made that for me, and I thought, you know what? It's good enough to put in the intro. Thank you, Lightsport. Milspec Max for 2 says, have a beer, John. I don't drink alcohol. Never had alcohol. I'm a very boring person. I've never had alcohol, never smoked a cigarette, never done drugs of any sort other than like prescription stuff. But yeah, thank you, Milspec Max. Zanyco for 2 says, John Richard said you look very handsome tonight. Well, that's the trick question because I look handsome every night. At least my mom tells me so. Thank you, Zany. Appreciate that.
I told him, I said, I tell you, you look handsome every night.
Oh. Zany for 2 says, just kidding. I said it and I meant it. Oh, see, there you go. Now, that's somebody who wants to get on the panel, okay? Somebody, couple compliments go a long ways, all right? Thank you, Zanyco. And some money doesn't help, doesn't hurt. Polly B for 2 says, why does this feel like the reverse Berlin Wall speech? Yeah, it was like, hi, guys, we're hitting them. We're going to continue to hit them. And we went to a bunch of wars in the past that lasted up to 20 years. So maybe we'll do that again in the future. It's like, why are we equating Iran to World War I and II and Iraq and Vietnam? It's like, I don't like where this is going, Mr. Trump. Like, this is not great. Midterms, goodbye. Thank you, Polly B. Appreciate it. Bull Shark for 5 says, who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? Obi-Wan Nairobi, probably. True. I need to watch. I miss, when movies were simple and you could like them and there was still propaganda in them for sure. Don't kid yourself. But where you really didn't think about it back in the day, like I remember watching those movies as a kid and just being like blown away. There's like this pure, innocent interpretation of the films without any of the secondary knowledge that comes on later in life, and good times. Bull Shark for 5, thank you. Cody Fisher for 10 says the slop bucket is full and peak. Goyam. Is Goyam banned from super chats? Can you not say Goyam in a super chat?
I believe it is.
I'm just quoting the Talmud, bro. Come on, dude. Unbelievable. That's religious persecution when you think about it, because they're not allowing me to propagate my Jewish mythology. Excuse me. Holly B for 10 on Ko-Fi says the fate of the Republic is in the hands of Amy Coney Barrett. Well, pack it up, boys. 250 years was a good run, but we're getting the bad end. Well, listen, it's like the bad end gives way to something else, okay? There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And it belongs to us, by the way. Chud for 2 says, take a drink whenever he says, never seen before. Yeah, it was such an impassioned speech. I was bored. Usually Trump is really good, at least rhetorically, or there's a crowd to play to or something. But it was kind of like, what are we doing here? And then, like, why are we equating this to World War II and Vietnam? I don't like that. Thanks, Chud. Moski for 5 says, would you be willing to have Gary from Paramount Tactical on for a debate/talk about y'all's thoughts on things like Iran and the gun industry? I don't know who Paramount Tactical is. I can look them up. Does he have takes that are against us or what? Because I mean, if we're aligned, then it's not really that interesting of a debate or conversation. Paramount Tactical. Let's see. I mean, he has good streams. Looks like he's a big channel. 285,000. Debate. What are we supposed to debate? Is he like pro-Trump? Is he pro the war in Iran? What am I supposed to debate here? I mean, I would have him on. Maybe he'd be interesting to talk to, but it doesn't seem like we'd be that far off, at least from what I'm seeing from his channel. So, I mean, maybe wouldn't be bad for me. Thank you, Mo. Chud for 2 says, I'd rather watch Big Toe Money over this. Richard Mogging Gassy. Thank you, Chud. Appreciate that. Scar for 2 says, God bless. Christ is king. Christ is king. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Chud for 2 says, hey, Donald, my people are being replaced. He doesn't care about your people. In the wise words of Ben Shapiro, frankly, I don't give a damn about the browning of America because, again, he doesn't have allegiance to America or Americans. He has another country that he's allegiant to. And same with Trump. Josh Howard for 5 on Ko-Fi says, can you explain what happens to oil we're not using, what affects what we pay at the pump for the TARD squeeze? So there is a global supply chain of oil, okay? 20% of all oil comes through the Strait of Hormuz. And it's not just oil, it's liquid natural gas, it's fertilizer, it's all sorts of things that come through there, okay? So if the global supply chain gets reduced by approximately 20%, that is going to decrease supply, which is usually going to negatively affect price. Because if demand stays the same, supply goes down, the price has to go up to kind of mitigate that demand. Now, Russia and other countries are simply going to raise the price of oil. A lot of Europe gets their oil from Russia, right? A lot of other countries that aren't affiliated with us get their oil from Russia or places like South America. So at some point, there is a global economy. And even if they start buying from us, what happens when our demand goes up? Well, the price is going to increase as well. That's just how it's going to happen, okay? It's all interconnected, okay? So even if we had all of our own oil and we're completely energy independent in every single way, if the global supply dropped by 50%, well, then everybody would be buying from us and we would raise our prices. Even though we're energy independent, it would still raise our prices because we are connected to the rest of the world in some sort of symbiotic way. That's how it works. Thank you, Chud. Appreciate that. Chud for another 2 says, honestly, does Turkey have a foreign legion? No, I mean, I kind of like wish Turkey was not there either. I mean, restarting Byzantium would be cool, okay, in some way, shape, or form. But the problem is the Byzantines aren't here anymore. It's kind of like you can't really restart Rome because the Romans aren't here anymore. In the same way, of course, you can say Italians are their successors, or the Holy Roman Empire, or some of these other weirdos. But it's not going to be the same thing, right? We're going to be something new. Thank you, Chud. Appreciate that. Rubicant for $20.
Come here. I can't fix you. No one can fix you. You are a broken, subhuman piece of trash, a garbage person.
So, John, give us your thoughts on King Kevin, who is now on the low back pressure train. It is inevitable that every company chasing military sales, chasing civilian sales, is going to come out with a reduced back pressure can. Because once you shoot low back pressure cans, you look at your high back pressure cans and you're like, I'm suddenly not so interested in you anymore. You're just not as nice to shoot. You're way less pleasant to actually be behind. And again, if it's on real guns, which are rifles chambered in 5.56 on the AR platform, then they're still loud. So we still wear hearing protection. So sound performance doesn't really matter all that much. You know, it's like, is it durable? Is it have low back pressure? Does it have good flash mitigation? If it does all those things, then it's going to be much more pleasant to actually use when you're actually shooting the thing if it's low back pressure. So, of course, even though these guys are like, oh, well, we're never going to change. We're never going to put out a low back pressure can. You shoot it once and you're like, oh, well, actually, I quite like this. Actually, this is a lot better. Like, if I don't have to shoot my high back pressure cans, I do not. At all. No purpose. It makes the gun shoot worse. It's much less pleasant on me physically to shoot them, right? So yeah, I just once you go low back pressure, you never go back or something like that. And so if they're going to chase market share or, you know, just try and compete with the industry as a whole, everybody has to have a low back pressure can. And a lot of military contracts are specifying low back pressure cans. In fact, when we talk about something like the M7 program, one of the biggest complaints is how much gas that thing throws off, even with SIG's reduced back pressure cans. Cody for 2 says, I'm tired, Grandpa. That's too damn bad. Dig those holes, Cody. Appreciate it, man. Zanico for 2 says, John, please send me a couple cases. Thanks. Couple bomb cases, maybe, bro. Thank you, Zanico. Appreciate that. Zandy for another 2 says, I'd like a Focus USPSA sponsorship this year, please. You make GM this year, and I will sponsor your matches. All right, Zanico, you make GM this year. I will sponsor your matches, and I will give you a Focus Trip shooting jersey. One of a kind. Made by Weekend Gunner. 94 Todd for 5 says, how much for an entire stream that is just big toe money on loop? You know, if we weren't going to listen to the president's address at the beginning, my plan was to start the stream with an empty chair and just let it run for like 20 or 30 minutes. And then come in and then start the stream and do all the normal stuff. And then I would just, after the stream is already up, I would cut the first 20 minutes out so it's normal for everybody listening after the fact. That's what I would have done. But since the president was literally going live as the stream started, that's how it works. Thank you, Todd. Lightsport 5 says, John, clearly never had a job where if you are late, they haze you and tell you people die. No, I've never had that type of a job. You know, it's like I worked in department stores. I worked in high-end sales. I was a tutor. You know, I did all these other things, not like somebody's life depended on what I was doing. And obviously, I think that if I had a job like that, it would be very irresponsible for me to not show up on time, right? There's a lot more pressure in that type of job than like, I need to answer an email. You know, it's like when I was in my sales job, it's like I go in there, I sit down, I get on my computer and I check like 50 emails and then I just take the rest of the afternoon to respond to them. It's like that was my job. Very boring. Not really that time sensitive. Thank you, Lightsport. Appreciate that.
I worked at a place where we welded dumpsters together and the guy got upset with me because I was like 4 minutes late twice. It's like, you know what? There was.
Well, that's
cows
also
in
the
road.
thing. Yeah, no, it's like who cares? Like I legitimately, who cares? You know, it's like I don't get paid for it because I'm not on the clock. I'm here like 61 seconds late, and I'm getting written up for being 61 seconds late, like one time out of like 11 months that I've been here. Like, real, and I stay late and I work weekends when you ask me to, and 61 seconds is enough to get written up. I'm like, you actually don't care about me in any way, shape, or form, and bye. You know?
Yep.
Rads for 5 says, I will do a super chat if Richard makes his profile pic the blue waffle. What's the blue waffle?
He sent it to me, and I don't think I can do that.
What the heck
I'm
is
pretty
a blue
sure
waffle?
Don't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Okay, interesting. I'm not going to look into it. All right. Not worth $20 apparently. Caveman for 5 says, have you seen the video of Rabbi Shmuley getting heckled? It's hilarious. Listen, I only have my Semitic tolerance is a little low right now. Okay, I need to build up my tolerance for Semitic action, so I'll let that one ride for right now. But thank you, Caveman. I'll take your word for it. It is quite funny. Ronnie D for 10 says, DeSantis says judges need to be held accountable. Based. Yes, I have that pulled up. Thank you, Ronnie D, for that. Now, unfortunately, he's also, an APAC first kind of guy, and he signed anti-speech laws in Israel for his state of Florida for some reason. But yeah, problems there. But yeah, he is correct. He is correct that the judges need to be held accountable. Thank you, Ronnie D.
DeSantis also just renamed an airport to like Donald Trump Airport. I think it was in West Palm, because he is looking for a cabinet position, I think. I don't know. Just completely retarded.
Well, that's very possible. Jim Eagle for 5 says, oh, you run a B&T, you run a Spiritus micro rig. How about you take that fat dumper of yours and go on a run, Bubba? Thanks for the stream on a 3 mile. Yeah, well, Godspeed out there, man. Hope you're having a good time. Yeah, I love, there is a bit of a dichotomy there where the smaller the rig, the more micro the rig is, the bigger the person, and it's like, well, I need to be high speed. And it's like, brother, I don't think it's the rig that's holding you back. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. Bullshark for $20. Shoot, where did it go? It says, here's for big toe money. Jake should have asked for royalties. I pay Jake when he comes on the show, so he gets his money worth out. Don't you worry.
This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. Hey, Jake money, big toe money. This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. My feet feel good, your feet where they should. Y'all just sitting in the grass with a cigarette. Jake money, big toe money, that's a bigger check. Walking in, everybody's
Certified bop. Thank you, Bullshark. Appreciate that, sir. Moonman for 10 says, F you, Chud. Richard, that thing I made you. Also, past tense your boss, whatever your job is. Well, I'm my own boss now, but back in the day, yeah. Just do it. It will be cool. I'm actually curious because my old boss checked in on my LinkedIn the other day. It was a while ago, a couple months ago. And so I wonder if he's like, John? John does what now? Because I know some of the podcasts he used to listen to. So there's a chance, Moonman, that my boss is literally listening to us right now theorize about how much of a bitch he was, which is funny. Thank you, Moonman.
Funny
Appreciate
side
that.
note. I filled out an application for a grocery store here, and it turns out that the owner is now an Indian man. So if you get a call from a guy who's severely Indian accent, although I hope he just.
I am calling about your brand, Richard Granium. I need to know if he go to mine or no.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't look it up online.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't have any Bobs or Vagine for you here. You have the wrong number, okay? Yeah. Rad's Arms for $20. Where's the good one for this? There's got to be a good one somewhere. Oh, I haven't used this one in a while. Is it this one?
We're going to have to come over to your house and kill you. No two ways about it.
Was worth it just for the comments that came after. Well, I still don't know what a blue waffle is. I'm not going to look it up. I there's things that I'm thinking about in my mind, and I'm like, obviously it's like Urban Dictionary and degeneracy knows no bounds. So I'm good. Thank you.
Grew up when you sent me the image because I wasn't sure what it was, and then I was like, yeah, sure, send me the image.
The more you think about it, you're like, oh.
Yeah. Then I was like, what did I just do? And then he sent it to me, and I almost I think Logan looked it up because he's not old enough to remember what it is. He goes, it's bad.
Yeah. Vival Pew for Viva la Pew, Viva la Pew, Viva la Pew, Viva la Pew, whatever. For 5 says, who will be the first shill for the BCA AK? I think Clayco made a post about it. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shill for it, but I think the first person I saw it from was Clayco. Realistically, it's going to be like tactical considerations or not Such. I don't think Such does AKs. Actually, no. It's going to be 704 Tactical. 704 Tactical will be the first one, for sure. Thank you, Vival Pew. Zanico for 2 says, John, I won't charge you when I come on stream. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Zany. Just charge back all your super chats. Ronnie for 2 says, takes notes of small rigs making things look bigger. Oh, okay, yeah. You're reverse compensating, okay? Everything looks bigger next to a micro rig. I see. Thank you, Ronnie D. Lost Arrow for 20 says, I am low speed, high drag. For real, I need the micro rig. I promise. Yeah. Well, maybe you need, maybe you need to micro something else, good sir. Okay. But no, I mean, we're all working on it. Okay. That's the important thing. If you're actually out there working on it, getting better, locking in your diet, now is the time to get that done. All right. What is this one?
Tell me a joke about.
Well, it's the start of a new week, so I thought I'd tell you to go fuck yourself. Word.
I forgot what that one was. Oh, I just clicked on that. All right.
So, you know that you have Jake's dogs several times in the side clips, right? It's in there multiple times.
I see 1. Oh, I do 2. Oh shoot, my bad. Okay, I deleted 1. That was strange. That was weird. I must have updated it multiple times. Whatever.
I just thought you really liked it, so.
I mean, it is funny. Thank you, Lost Arrow. Appreciate that, sir. Hope you're having a good night. Appalachia, and I'm going to pull up your tweet in just a second, or your image. Appalachia 8 for 20 says, Piggy Sar. Damn it, guys, I was trying to get through this really fast. We could get to actual gun news because everybody's waiting for it. And you guys are like, no, you're actually going to play the Big Toe Money song.
This is the song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. Hey, Jake money, Big Toe Money. This is the song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. My feet feel good, your feet where they should. Y'all just sitting in the grass with a cigarette. Jake money, Big Toe Money, that's a bigger check. Walking in, everybody.
Thank you, Appalachia Ape. I appreciate it, sir. Moonman for 10 says, micro chest rig this, high speed that. How about you just wear an IOTV and then nobody needs to know you're orbulent? That's a good note. That's a good one. Also, can I get some Big Toe Money? You can get some Big Toe Money, but for $10, man.
This is the song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. Hey, Jake money, Big Toe Money. This is the song of the summer shit. You know it's.
All right, there we go. Thank you, Moonman. Appalachian 8 for 10 says, certified BCA AK shit stick shill right here. You're welcome. Well, listen, Appalachia Ape, are you going to buy one? Are they available? They're like limited edition. So don't wait. Buy them now, because don't you want a limited edition Bear Creek Arsenal AK? Question mark. Who thought that was a good idea? Who legitimately was like, this will sell well? Bear Creek Arsenal, noted quality when it comes to AKs. All right. Well, all right. Back to the news. Finally. How much to play Big Toe Money for the next 30 minutes? Well, it's 30 seconds per $20. So $40 a minute. It would be $1,200. Because the clip is exactly 30 seconds long. $20 per 30 seconds, $40 per minute, times 30, $1,200. $1,200. I'm a GFL player and I don't want to see that video.
30 minutes and I just got
30 minutes straight, dude. Well, we just played the music video because there's the 2.5 minute music video. That's got to be like $100 because it's 2.5 minutes long. Actually, it's perfect. Yeah. For $100, I play the full 2.5 minute Big Toe Money music video. All right. Well, actually, so very interesting. Maybe a weird change of pace considering we just got Trump's APAC speech. But breaking, DOJ announces FARA enforcement action against APAC. In an unexpected move this evening, the Department of Justice announced the launch of a formal investigation into the American-Israel Public Affairs Committee, APAC, for alleged violations of the Foreign Agents Registration Act. APAC has declined to comment, but sources inside the organization describe the mood as panicked. The cockroach hates the light. Hates the light. But also, like, this is probably a big nothing burger. This is probably just a little show. It's like, see, we investigated APAC and we came away that they did not violate anything. Or maybe we give them like a little slap on the wrist fine. Like, imagine if they fine APAC like $250,000 or $100 million. Oh, it's April Fool's. Yeah. That's funny. Never mind. I got. Damn it. I got. Damn it. Yeah, this is me right now internally. Internally, I'm seething. This is me. This is the cat right now. Gosh, dang it. Arrow got me live. All right. I hope that was worth the $20, Arrow. I'm going to kill you now. You can legally use this in court, by the way. Now, speaking of things that you can legally use in court, Caracal, which is the UAE's premier weapons manufacturer, and they make the Caracal 816, which is, of course, the third generation of the 416, because you have, of course, the HK 416. And then SIG was like, you know what? I am going to poach your two engineers who developed the HK 416, and we are going to make the SIG 516. You have the 516 Gen 1, Gen 2, and now the Gen 3, though keep in mind the Gen 3 was not made with the same engineers who made Gen 1 and 2. Caracal then says, you know what? We can do the same thing. And so we brought those engineers over to the UAE, and let's make the SIG 516, but let's make it optimized for the desert. So we have the Caracal 816, which is a cool rifle. It's a good rifle. It's a piston setup that's neat. It's in the lineage of the 416, and I love the 516. Don't really like the 416, but I love the 516. I like the 816. I think they're good guns. However, the 814 is really disappointing. Now, the Caracal USA wins Belize contract for the Caracal 814 A2 patrol rifles. Now, the A2, or the 814, sorry, is not the piston rifle. It's a generic AR, and it's not even a good AR. It's a very, very generic rifle. It has really nothing special about it. It has a terrible rail. They're like 16-inch carbine length barrels. They're really unimpressive. Really, really unimpressive rifles. I mean, it's like, I hope they're put together well, and they're probably relatively accurate because ARs are relatively accurate systems, you know, but there's no cool tech. There's no cool, you know, hybrid piston system. There's no like reduced mass bolt carrier group or other fun, interesting things that are optimized in the 816. The 814 is just a generic AR. And so like why you would go with Caracal for a generic AR is beyond me. Like, because this is like a lower tier rifle than even like, it's like, oh, we got the FN, but we got the Guardian FN, which is like a white label armory rebrand special. Like, it's like you didn't even get like the military rifle. You didn't get the TAC Sport, TAC Sport 3, something like that. You got the Guardian. It's like, that's the 814 is like the loser little brother, you know? It's like you didn't even get the cool one. Like, why go with Caracal at all at that point? Why?
I don't understand. Unless they got a really good deal on them.
I mean, maybe, and that's the thing. They're about 15 hundo for MSRP. You know, I'm sure street price, they can be lower than that. Like, you might even find them for under $1,000. but it's not very special. It's not a particularly interesting system to go for a contract. Now, believe like maybe they're more strapped for cash, and they for some reason they wanted Caracal, but they can't get the 816, so it's like, okay, we're gonna go with the 814. All right. Los Air says, Focus Trip, does the Caracal 816 take a better looking handguard? The base handguard is kind of ugly. It is ugly, but it's a very novel mounting system. It's like a weird top-down screw into the barrel nut interlocking system. So it's a very novel way that the whole system comes together, but I do not believe that there's any sort of aftermarket handguard for it, like there could be with the 416. But yeah, the 816 I think is a good gun. I think if you want a piston rifle, the 816 or the 516 Gen 2, really nice shooting guns, and they have all the features and settings you want without being exorbitantly expensive. I do think pistons in general are overrated as well. Like DI is kind of the way to go. But if you're going to go with, if we've presupposed that you're going with a piston rifle, 816, 516, good way to go. All right, so CEO Jeffrey Spalding said the award reflects the brand's expanding footprint in the region. Our dedication to safety, reliability, and durability continues to showcase the quality of Caracal USA weapon systems. Now, they also, the CMP9K, which is a pistol PCC that we looked at SHOT Show, it's kind of like an MPX we have at home. It's like a, what did they call it? A leverage delay blowback system, which is just a direct blowback system. I kind of want to get one, but they're also kind of expensive for what they are. The Belize contract follows a similar deal announced the same day as TFP reported. Caracal USA separately secured a CMP9K contract in the Bahamas, a second win in the Caribbean on the same news cycle. The back-to-back announcements suggest the company is moving aggressively through INE to build a larger regional presence. Caracal USA is the American subsidiary of Caracal International, headquartered in Abu Dhabi. The parent company has pursued government contracts across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East for years. The U.S. operation has taken a similar approach stateside, mixing law enforcement and government sales with a growing civilian product lineup that now includes the CSR, bolt-action precision rifles, and CMP pistol series. It's the 814 again. It's like when I read the article, I was like, oh, cool, another country picking up the 816, and then you read a little deeper, and it's the 814, and it's like, well, that's really boring. Now, if you're not familiar, let me pull it up here. This is the CMP9K. Now, the ones that we saw at SHOT Show, they're HK magazines, but it's not radial delayed. It's not roller delayed. It's just like a really front heavy, again, leverage delay, whatever that happens to mean. And the ones that we saw at SHOT were M-lock and not key mod. So I'm not sure why they're showing that here. Not that it matters all that much for a blowback PCC, but it is what it is. But yeah, this is more what we saw. They're kind of cool. They are fully ambidextrous. They're not hyper expensive. They're about $1,500. Not particularly exciting, right? But I mean, good on them for getting a contract. It's just strange to see a 814 winning a contract for some reason, especially when there are other options out there. All right. Well, I saw it in chat. It happened. I had to say that while Moon Man was here because I knew that he was going to jump on the opportunity to make everybody suffer. So now this is the one that's in the intro is a little different because I cut out a lot of the toes. Okay.
Okay.
However, Around the Fire did not. There's a lot more toe in Around the Fire's version. So Moon Man for $100 says, say less, big toe money, do it now. Based Miku. I wish that the emojis picked up in StreamYards, but they don't. But yeah, Based Miku. Based Miku posting, here we go. Big toe money, King Jake, the entire music video.
Jake in the kitchen, rib on a kid, pan on a flame. Cross on his neck like a blade, eyes locked in, unashamed. Yeah! School lunch packed, then he straps boots tight, clock in, clock out, then he hunts all night, sees filth in the feed, he delete that quick.
Oh shoot, damn it, I forgot. I can't show the entire thing because there's random parts in there where
Oh, world twisted, he don't bend,
Desert
don't
Rat.
flinch. One hand on the stroller of the hand, clean his streets on his face, got scars on his tongue, got heat. Single dead saga, still he walks straight lanes. Halo in the hoodie, only fire in his face. Jake, righteous rage, Bible in his backpack, beast in the cage. Single dead soldier, carrying the load, making side cash, flexing with his toes. Jake, break these chains, smile on his face while he walks through flames. He's out here cleaning up all these roads, God in his heart and war in his songs. Little boy sleeping, he's scrolling through threats. Every new vice, get a name, get checked. He don't chase skirts, he chase grace. Whole lot of bills, still he keep pace. Got side hustles weird, but the bag legit. Haters talk wild till I see that grit. He sip too bruised, still sharp, still clear. Lying in the sand, he don't cross that steer. Hands scarred up from the weight he lifts, heart carved up from the ones who dip. But he never laid down, never lose that faith. Every swing he take got a holy Jake, righteous rage, Bible in his backpack, beast in the cage. Single dead soldier, carrying the load, making side cash, flexing with his toes. Jake, break these chains, smile on his face while he walks through flames. He's out here cleaning up all these wrongs, God in his heart and war in his song.
Oh, sorry, Desert Rat. You got hit in that. You got hit really hard in there for no reason. Catching strays. That was the full song. I hope that was worth it, Moon Man. I saw many. Man, that was a lot of toes. Okay, I had to edit down the toes. There was too many toes for the intro. So, yeah. Woo. All right. Well, again, it's like W Moon Man. W. Okay. W's in the chat for Moon Man for forcing you unconsensually to watch that. But now I'm going to force you to unconsensually gaze upon the Bear Creek Arsenal AK-47, or I think they called it the Bear 47. Now, bear has a different connotation in a lot of the circles that some of you guys run, but here we have the Bussa 47, and it's very, very exciting. Now, within their own link, let me see if I can just get to the main one here. This is not a edited image. They decided to put that up and be like, this is part of their trailer, right? Because they put a trailer up on their X account. And it's something just seems a little off there to me, Richard. Do you notice anything potentially wrong with this image?
It looks like it'd be perfect for a cross-eyed Afghani.
Yeah, you raise it up because that increases the power level. It's kind of like the rear leaf sight. The bigger the number, the more powerful the cartridge gets.
I was told the front sight's supposed to be canted.
Well, it's not even that it's canted, but it's outside of the shoe. Because aren't those, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't those protective, leaves supposed to actually protect the sight? So
No. See, that's your backup irons for your backup. Like you're supposed to draw white dots across there and use that just like a set of pistol sights.
There is one company that does make like peep sights that are truly see-through. So it's a solid front and an open back, but then it has like a tiny little hole in the front. I think is it Cyodyne? Or one of those guys that actually has it's like dual peep sights, which is an interesting concept. So you actually aim with the negative space. But yeah, that's in their own promotional material. Now, our very own Vintage Warfare ratioed them on Twitter, says, all right, guys, pack it in. April Fool's is tomorrow. QC so bad they can't even check dates. And yeah, they did not. This is their promotional material, right? And it's like we're slapping on Amazon rebranded 1-inch light mounts, and we're just making it look as ugly and hideous as possible. Also, I know YouTube doesn't like this, but actually it's covered up by the comment. Perfect. But it is $900 for a Bear Creek Arsenal AK-47 when a Wasser is $200 cheaper, and it's, not going to have a great fit and finish, neither is the Bear Creek Arsenal, but at least the core components, the bolt, the trunnion, and the barrel are good, right? At least you're getting that on a Wasser these days. And if you just want a cheap AK that looks nicer, PSA's AKs go for $700. So what is the appeal of buying a Bear Creek Arsenal?
Somebody will say that it's American made.
Yeah, but so's PSA, right? With their GF3, 4, and 5 lines. So, and again, they're cheaper and they have more features on paper than the Bear Creek Arsenal. A Wasser's, yeah, 700, 750, and Zostivas are just over $1,000, right? Roughly, somewhere in that ballpark.
If you
a seal hammer, 900 for a sintered trunnion.
Ooh.
Yeah, paying for the name. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Yeah. At $500, I still think it's a waste of money because, of course, like 762x39 isn't cheap. Let me check. Let me check what 762x39 is going for right this second. So if we say new and with good shipping costs, 762x39 is going for, well, you don't even need brass, but brass is sitting at 56. So, I mean, it's like 25% more expensive than 5.56. It's not horrible, actually. Like 56 cents a round for M67. It's okay. It's fine. But still, it's more expensive to shoot than an AR, and $900 is not cheap. Like, that's BCM lower of your choice territory, Yeah, it's a price premium above 5.56, 25 to 30% more expensive than 5.56, and it's not a great gun. Like, why? Why would you do that? It's a bomb made in a bomb factory. Something is, you murdered your own product launch. There's something wrong with your brain. Yeah, you can't put this in your AK marketing materials. Just don't do it, okay, guys? Something is off here. You need help. Help yourself. Now, here's their own announcement for it. Announcing the new BCA AK-47 rifle line. Bear Creek Arsenal continues to expand its lineup with the introduction of the BCA AK-47, a new rifle platform. Imagine calling the AK a new rifle platform. Built to deliver a dependable performance while maintaining the value and quality. It's $1,000. It's not that cheap. Designed around the AK-47. Yeah, we know. The BCA AK-47 is expected to launch on March 31st, introducing Bear Creek Arsenal's take on the classic platform with modern enhancements. Now, I would like them to cite the modern enhancements, because when I look at this, I see a bare bones AK with a Krebs style safety. So are they just saying that it's the Krebs style safety? That's what's the quote unquote enhancement?
Oh, and the pick rail sections on the front.
Well, but I mean, like most AKs, if it's not a Wasser, come with some sort of, M-lock or pick at the front. So is that it? That's it? I mean, it has colors, which is cool, I guess. So a 16-inch barrel. Each barrel is manufactured from 4150, Parkerized. Is it chrome? It's not even chrome lined. They just threw one of their mega cheap Bear Creek Arsenal barrels in there. 1 in 10 twist, of course. Yeah, the slant muzzle brake. I hate the slant muzzle brake. I think it is terrible. Pushes the gun down after every shot. The only thing it's good at is being cheap and efficient to mass produce. Modern receiver. It's like, yeah, it has a receiver with a side rail. Comfort and practical design. Tell me what it's made out of. Do we have forged trunnions? It's
made out of metal.
Ostensibly made out of metal. We're not entirely sure yet. They told us, yeah, the barrel's 4150, Parkerized. What is
did that in their promotional video?
Made metal. Metal. Made out of crushed beer cans from your father-in-law's back porch. EOTech. All right, let me see real fast. Let me check their Twitter and see if they have some more information on it. And again, in their drop, they say it's a limited release. So if you go over to their Twitter, in their actual post, it says BCA AK-47 drops tomorrow. Who's hyped? Hyped? I think you mean. This is a limited release, so don't wait to get yours. Who is breaking down the door to get a $900 AK? So
who is running their social media?
Yeah, I'm going to go check their listings real fast. I can't show them on screen because YouTube doesn't like that. But can I even find it on their website? Okay. Dude, Bear Creek Arsenal's website is sketch. If you type in AK on their website, nothing comes up. Hello? They have a link to their article, but not a, where is it? Well, it can't be a April Fool's joke because the article came out 2 weeks ago and the tweet was before April. Okay, here we go. I found a link. You can't Google AK, but you can find it on their homepage. There are only 2 left. Limited stock of 2 right now. Details. They don't even tell you? Dude, I'm looking at it right now, dog. They don't even have. Look at this. Look at this, guys. With a black nitride receiver, the rifle includes rail mount. Yeah. There's nothing that tells me what is going on with any of the important components. The bolt, the trunnion, the carrier, what it's compatible with, what it's built off of.
4150 chrome moly vanadium.
That's
but what
the
is
steel.
that?
That's the steel. That's what they said is the steel because they're talking about the barrel here. No information about any of the core components. Okay. Thanks, Bear Creek Arsenal. Yeah, are there any real AK stands in the chat that tells you it's cast? I guess, right? If they're not being forthcoming. I mean, what would be honestly the best is if it was using Romanian internals, right? But then it wouldn't really be American made now, would it? Is there any AK stands in the chat that's like, I want this? Anybody in here who's excited for a new, not even entry level? You know, it's like Pioneer Arms when they were around. I think they're coming back though, aren't they? But Pioneer Arms was at least cheap.
Yeah, I seen one there. They had a 20-inch for like $415 at one point in time.
Yeah, not very exciting. AK bros are desperate out there, and they are not doing too hot. All right. Let me see real fast if I can find this. Because who posted it? Who posted the Reed Knight footage? Or Trey Knight? Because I want to see if I can get this for context. Just purely for context here. Oh, shoot. Trey Knight. Knight's armament. Because again, I was a little short on time, so I wasn't quite able to get everything arranged the way I'd like, but it's okay. We'll push forward without it. All right, so this was shown around in the Discord a little bit today, that there is a upcoming auction of Charles Reed Knight II, the father of Charles Reed Knight III. Now, the third goes by Trey. Trey is the young man who is at SHOT Show. Again, going for the record, or at least extending his record of the most DUIs post SHOT Show. I believe currently he is at 5, although we could continue to see that rise in the future. We're not entirely sure where it all ends up, to be honest. There it is. Okay, this young man right here, this is Trey. Famously, in 2024, didn't want to talk to me about his new KS1 and then got arrested shortly after. I had nothing to do with that, I assure you. However, his father, Charles Reed Knight II, is putting up some very interesting transferable machine guns up for sale auction at Rock Island Armory, and the prices are exorbitant. Again, YouTube doesn't like it when I show the prices physically on screen, but we're talking in the neighborhood of $25,000 to $75,000 starting bid on some of these. So you have a factory original H&K HK53 Class 3 NFA machine gun. So a original HK53. Again, let me actually check the full price list of this. There are several things in here that are being sold by Charles that are kind of like one-offs, one of one. You aren't going to be able to find them anywhere else. This one here specifically right now, let me pull it up. Yeah, so $70,000 is the top price, estimated top price of this, although you could see it go for a little bit more. You can see that this is Charles Reed Knight Jr. II. And the theory, or at least like what people are proposing. Oops, that's the wrong one. It's funny. I blacked out other things, but not the actual price. Oops. Anyways, HK Mark 23 is with matching KEK OHG silencer, class 3 NFA. Rather cool. Again, going for a light 13K. Also put up by Junior. Now, here's the interesting one. This is a 1921 Thompson machine gun. This is the last one. The last one to ever roll off their assembly line. And this is part of Charles' collection that he is selling off. And again, this one here has the possibility of fetching 6 figures for this. So he's selling off a lot of his very cool, very novel, unique firearms, class 3 firearms at auction. And kind of the joke is, well, they need extra money to fund Trey Knight's legal cases because lawyers are quite expensive. As far as I'm aware, the woman in Florida that he attacked their house with a machete and was running around their property while the mother and daughter were inside the house. They are currently suing him for his antics. The very famous video that is floating around about Trey Knight attacking. Actually, what's funny is if I go to my YouTube channel, I can probably find the clip faster than if I try to search it other places. Because it's probably like on my clips channel. Let's see, Trey Knight. I'm sure it's going to pop up. There it is. Yep, it's literally going to be us reacting to Trey Knight here. If you're unfamiliar with the situation at hand, again, this was slightly post-SHOT Show this year. And here we have Trey Knight doing his thing high on substances, let's say, which is probably a little bit of meth. You know, definitely some alcohol in the mix. Again, I think he's at 4 or 5 post-SHOT Show DUIs. So the man has got, you want full volume. Once I get to it, because we always have that annoying preamble before we just play the video, you know. Where is it? Come on, John. Come on, old John from like January. There we go. All right. Just... Dude, there's going to be... What are you talking about? I'm literally wearing a suit. I got a blazer on. I just have a regular shirt underneath, but I'm wearing a blazer in that. What are you talking about? Pre-suit era. I mean, honestly, this is not pre-suit era for Trey. Trey's got a couple suits floating around. You know what I mean? And this, it's a lot of pressure on the man. I'm sure not only was his grandfather a prolific manufacturer, not only was his father a prolific manufacturer, but there's a lot of pressure, you know, following the family business. And he's had some substance abuse issues along the way, which we do pray for his recovery, of course, because the demon of lust, of addiction is a tough one to cast, right? And so there are
some stuff.
Yeah, maybe he's doing a little bit of substance manufacturing on the side. But if you wish to help him and his father in their pursuit of liquidation, you can spend a lot of money on some really cool stuff. Like, who wouldn't want to have a real HK53 full auto, like factory full auto HK53? Okay, I'm not much of an HK guy, but a full auto 53, like a factory 53, goes pretty hard.
Yeah, that's one of the only ones that I'm interested in is the 53. And if I could manage to ever get a factory full auto one, that'd just be insane. I'll never be able to afford anything like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the Thompson is like classic looking, and it's like really it invokes Call of Duty 3, and I'm talking World War II Call of Duty 3. You know, on the cover with the Thompson in the very first mission of that game where, you know, you're in the truck and then your whole squad gets attacked by German artillery. Like that Americana is really what solidifies in my mind when I see a Thompson. Not great guns, but the idea of them, okay?
The 21 Thompson cool. Was a significantly higher cyclic rate than the 28s or the the military designation that they come up with later that did away with the Blish locking system and all of that.
Well, in World War II, they needed to be cheaper, right? So they were trying to mass produce them, right? That was the whole point. And they literally got worse and worse as time went on. Like you didn't no longer had fluted barrels or the delay mechanism or any of that stuff.
Yeah, they ended up just being straight blowback. They were heavy, clunky.
Oh yeah,
and
they're like 8 pounds. So like it's funny that for an SMG, they are heavier than all of our modern fighting rifles. You know, they're heavier than the new M8.
The original 21s, though, those were sweet pieces of machinery right there.
Oh yeah, and that's why they were so expensive back in the day, right? Back in the day, they were $250, $200, which would be equivalent to $1,500 or $2,000. It's a lot of money. Okay, so they were like months worth of salary back in the day.
Correct.
So yeah, very very cool back in the day. They feel like 20 pounds loaded with a drum. Well, that's because it's 45 ACP. It's America's caliber. All right.
The drum was like 15 pounds.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's 50 rounds of 45, which isn't like super heavy, but then it's steel construction and it's a big, big boy. Right? Are they 50 or 100 round drums? I don't know. I'm not an expert. I've never actually shot a Thompson. I'd like to, but it's just not something I encounter in my day-to-day lives.
I think the sticks were 25 and the drums were 70. I'd have to look up.
Yeah, I mean, the grease gun would also be cool, but the grease gun looks like it could be mass produced by like two ladies in a sweatshop, which it was,
they did
right?
Two different grease guns. They had one that was it had like a cocking lever on the side, and then eventually they were like, all right, do away with that. And
yeah, you push the thumb hole in the bolt, and then that's how you charge the thing.
And that's also the safety, because like when you close the dust cover, there's a lever that just sticks into the hole to keep the bolt from moving.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that is wartime engineering, it's and this happened across the board for the Allies, for the Axis, for everybody. The pre-war examples were very high quality, polished and whatnot. And then as time goes on, it's like, well, we need to produce more and we need to cut corners somewhere. So everything is just going to get coalesced and simplified until we have like generic untreated sheet metal being slapped together with the cheapest possible parts. And that's what we're doing. It's like the Germans making jets out of wood.
Yeah, I think the final
they're doing what they could.
Grease gun cost $33 or $35 to make.
Oh yeah. No, it looks like a barrel pressed into a tube. Like a piece of welded pipe. That's what it looks like. All right. Well, that is, if you guys are interested, you can check out True Pieces of History. Again, this is the last Colt Model 1921 Thompson submachine gun to leave the Colt factory. And again, this is part of Charles Knight's II, his personal collection. Now, in other news, Glock, who famously completely revised their Gen 5 into the Gen V and then threw out the Gen 6, in kind of a nebulous way. You could say that going from the Gen 5 to the Gen V was to maintain parts compatibility kind of between the two while still offering a product that's similar, while clearing out their old Gen 5 stock, while then offering the Gen 6, and so that they could get around some of these laws and some of these lawsuits, because I think they were being sued in, correct me if I'm wrong, 13 states had lawsuits against Glock.
Correct.
So it was a bunch of states suing Glock, and they were trying to get away from it because they wanted to make a gun that wasn't compatible with these prolific switches that we see the using. However, anytime you acquiesce to these people, to these politicians, to these gun control advocates, they're not just going to stop. Like, they're not just going to give up. So again, you can read the headline: despite new Glock models, Minnesota charges ahead with lawsuit against gun maker.
One of the largest gun manufacturers in the world, Glock, now claims it'll be harder to turn its handguns
I hate it when they do
into illegal machine guns.
Actually, I hate YouTube.
Minnesota's attorney
it's really
general
YouTube's
says
fault.
The new models do not go far enough as the state pushes ahead with its lawsuit against Glock. Tonight, the Fox 9 investigators dig into what led to the lawsuit and why it's not going away. These newly obtained videos reveal the chaos and the gut-wrenching aftermath of a deadly shootout in downtown Minneapolis in 2021.
Now, I have another tweet pulled up here. Let me see if I can find it. Some handy dandy little stats to keep all of this in context with how dangerous firearms are, because we know that firearms are the root cause of all violence. I think firearms are the root cause. Maybe I could be wrong about that, and that would throw my whole theory out the window. But let's just go with that firearms are the root cause. Blacks in Minnesota, 6% of the population, 62% of violent crime.
Odd.
I gotta say, I think it's the guns. I think it's the guns. Gotta be guns. Gotta be guns. Anyways, back to the video about banning Glocks.
We combed through hours of video evidence, including the moment a Glock handgun was recovered from the scene.
Let's get this crowd out here. Let's get this crowd out here.
With the stendo, with the switch, man was prepared for war, going out there to hose the ops, or whatever they say.
A handgun
They had the vector
modified to
extension.
fire like a machine gun.
So this was the wall of his room the day after he died when we went into his room. And
Greg Johnson's 21-year-old son, Charlie, was an innocent bystander, caught that night in the spray of bullets.
Yep, that's the victim. This is the perpetrator. Victim, his father, his family. That's the perpetrator. Not thinking it's the guns, gentlemen.
and stuff, of course, we hung on to. They were at this point half a block away from the shooters when the shooting started, and they just tried running towards the corner, towards the end of the block, and steps before the end of the block, one of the bullets found him in the back.
Charlie was set to graduate at the University of St.
It's tragic. It's awful. And again, he was never even a target in this. He just happened to be like general proximity of gang members. General proximity. Death sentence.
Thomas the very next day.
We were thankful every day that we had healthy kids until the day we didn't.
But this isn't just a gun problem. It is a Glock problem.
There was Keith Ellison. His son is one of the founders of the BLM movement in Minneapolis.
See, when it comes to the stupid or evil paradigm, right? Occam's razor. I just think that it's both. I reject your false dichotomy and assert my own here.
3 years after Charlie's death, Minnesota's Attorney General Keith Ellison filed a lawsuit against Glock for the design of its handgun.
The guns in these cases had been converted into fully automatic weapons.
See, and I do in some way blame the father and the mother here, because they probably did not teach their son to be aware of his surroundings. They probably did not teach him to be aware of the issues in society, and they were probably misled themselves, right? So you can always pass the buck further and further down the line, but they are here standing behind Keith Ellison, allowing their son to be a martyr for gun control, for disarmament of good people, instead of just punishing the bad people, instead of just showing you who we need to be dealing with. It's not day switches. It's not day socioeconomic factors. It's the people involved here that we need to go after and punish and string up and, exercise full maximum judgment under law.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. And I hate to say it, but I bet.
I mean, he's allowing his son to be used as propaganda against law-abiding citizens. So that
we can go back and check the records here back in 2020 and see just what side he fell on in 2020. Right. I bet he was saying, oh, yep, we need to be out in the streets right now, marching for, all the right causes, as he would say. He probably supported Ellison for quite a while. That's going to be my guess. At least the similar views.
Weapons using a simple, cheap device called a Glock switch.
They're typically not able to control the aim of the weapon because of the recoil in rapid succession. And because of that, you typically have...
Speak for yourself, man. It's like, can we just be honest, though? It's not white gangs. It's not white turf wars. These aren't European problems. These are ethnic gangs of children a lot of the times, starting at like 12 years old, that are walking around flaunting switches on their Instagram live, vlogging about their illegal firearms. Again, even though we don't really care about that aspect of it, but these people need to be dealt with. If they were in jail or simply punished for their crimes, this would not be an issue. The root cause is the people. This is a people issue.
Have multiple victims that are struck, people that are unintended targets of the shooting.
In Minneapolis, the city's gunshot detection technology tracked a dramatic spike in shootings involving fully automatic gunfire, from just 154 shots in 2020 to more than 3,000 shots fired in 2022.
A change of design could prevent these handguns.
And also keep in mind that he's pushing forward with the trial, with the case against the Glock, even though they acquiesced to his demands, which is why you never negotiate with these people. It's not possible. They want to see you destitute, dead, and gone, negotiating your rights away, kicking the can down the road so that they can continue to go after you and get more and more power. Not a great idea.
Yeah, and just as Raz just said, 2020 was COVID. Everybody was inside up until, the protest.
We should just pretend that it's still COVID out there and just beam it onto BET that COVID is out there, and if you go outside you'll die or something.
I'd like to see
but only on BET.
I'd like to see what the numbers were from 2019 and 2018 compared to 21.
I'm sure it's very deceptively edited.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't even know. I don't even care if it's relevant. I don't care if it was 1 million rounds. Tell me who's firing them. How about that?
From being turned into illegal automatic weapons. But Glock has turned a blind eye, and again,
people illegally modifying their firearms. It's like it's already illegal. You're going to make it double illegal? No, you're just going to punish Glock and make it to where it's harder for them to sell within your state.
Well, the funny thing is he's the attorney general. He has the ability to keep the people in jail who are doing this.
The point is not to punish the evildoers. The point is to punish you. Right? You're not the target. Sorry. The gangs, the individuals, the perpetrators are not the target here. The target is always, how can I use tragedy to further my political goals?
No one is trying to stop Glock from selling handguns. Nobody is trying to stop other manufacturers from selling firearms. What we are trying to do is to make them do so in a responsible, accountable manner.
I just heard this from a very reliable source that as of November 30th, Glock is going to discontinue all models, Gen 3, 4, 5.
Earlier this year, Glock rolled out its new model of handguns. And in recent court filings, the company claims it has made extensive efforts to redesign Glock pistols to prevent the use of known MCDs, or machine gun conversion devices.
If we get our hands on the new Glock Model V, within 2 weeks, we can build a switch for it. We can convert it full auto.
Now, see, this is the thing. This is absolutely true what Brandon is doing here, and I probably said the exact same thing. The left, the mainstream media, Keith Ellison types, Soros types, are going to use that against us because we know that it's silly. We know that it's ridiculous. But that's the point. Even at some level, Keith has probably been told that, by the way, like they'll just come out with a different version of an MCD. And Keith is like, yeah, I know, that's the point. And then we'll continue to make it more and more difficult for these gun companies to operate until we can just ban them entirely, okay? Because that's what California is trying to do with any readily convertible option out there. And they'll use that sort of language to ban everything. Because we'll say, but I can convert that too. And they're like, I know, we're going to ban it next. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting? We get to ban that one next too. No, I know. So Chud, that's correct. You're so right. They're so excited because yes, you can, which means that eventually they'll ban all of it. They love that. It's not about logic or they're lying to you, right? That's what it is. And they use your like, oh, well, but look, if we're following a logical train, I can also do it with that gun. And they're like, great, thank you. I'm going to ban that one next.
Like, it's not fucking hard.
And within days of Glock releasing its new Glock Model V, posts like these surfaced all over social media.
We got the new Glock 19 CV. This is Glock's answer to everybody putting Glock switches on their stuff. Anyways.
Citing those videos, Attorney General Ellison says the new models fail to prevent quick and easy conversion of the new handguns.
Glock knows that its pistols are easily convertible to.
And that's the thing. But all of us are going to use that logic and be like, well, wait a second. Doesn't that mean like an AR? Yes, an AR is readily convertible. All striker fire triggers? Yes, they are readily convertible. 1911s and 2011s? Also very possible. You know, there's FRT designs going back to the like 1930s for 1911s. It's like, yep, you're right. Isn't that exciting? All firearms are readily convertible unless they're bolt action or pump action. So we're going to ban all of them, right?
We need to change the definition of readily convertible and make sure that in order for it to be readily convertible, all members of Congress have to be able to convert it themselves. All members of the ATF's team have to be able to
I know that's...
It'll never happen.
No, well, obviously I know that, you know, we would like something like that, like personal accountability at that level. I try not to even get into hypotheticals like that because the government following its own rules is not their strong suit. So it's that to me is like wishing unicorns were real. It's like, you can, I guess.
I just like to think back to the ATF's top guy not even being able to take a Glock apart.
Well, yeah, and again, that's like funny, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, they're just spitting in your face and telling you to deal with it. It's like, again, D's nuts. Like, I agree with you. Yeah, get rid of the NFA. Okay. I agree.
Banning teens.
Yeah, banning teens. Yeah, it's just as much of a pipe dream. You might as well say, I want to fly into the sun and become Superman or something like that. It's like, okay, sure, dude. We got Ketanji Brown Jackson up there waiting at the Supreme Court to make the right call, okay?
Just waiting for that Japanese wallet.
Machine guns.
And the Giffords Law Center told us in an interview last year, this isn't the first time Glock has changed its design.
The design changes Glock has made have been completely ineffective at preventing them from being converted to machine guns.
Again, they're saying it's on Glock to make sure people don't do illegal things with their firearms when that's not the standard for anything else, like cars or toasters or fertilizer. You know, imagine if it was on fertilizer's company to prevent them from being used in explosive devices. You'd be like, well, we can't really enforce what people do with our products after the fact. That's not really on us to be regulated in that way.
Well, they are trying to put breathalyzers in all cars now.
Well, that's just another. I mean, they already got GPS and autonomous controls in some of them. So that would be the next step of control, some sort of control mechanism that they can have to shut down transportation, because transportation is freedom, you know? And that's why I hate the idea of electrical cars, is because like they can just shut off the power and that limits what you can do, right? Unless you just have like, I don't know, huge battery banks that can charge your car. Like I can have, 25, 50 gallons of fuel, stored on my property. Or and some of you guys can probably have hundreds of gallons of fuel stored on your property. And you can be like, well, I can reach anywhere in the continental US with or without supplemental fuel. It's like, great. Can't do that so much with some of these other modern inventions.
Now facing lawsuits by attorneys general in Minnesota and New Jersey, and from major cities like Seattle, Philadelphia, and Chicago.
Now, what, dear viewer, do you think is the common denominator, the usual suspects, if you will, between Minnesota, New Jersey, Seattle, Philadelphia, and Chicago? Yeah, no way. That's crazy. We have a violent crime problem. And I agree. We do have a violent crime problem, but you don't really want to talk about who's committing the crimes. Now, do you? Nope, wrong button. Where did it go? There it is.
Yeah, and Chicago.
We actually have 236 firing positions. We have, what, 12 ranges?
So we traveled to Illinois, where we met Richard Pearson.
Any firearm probably can be modified some way or another if you took enough time to do it.
Pearson leads the Illinois State Rifle Association and is tracking the recent wave of lawsuits against Glock.
We know it's a natural strategy to attack the firearm industry, and it shouldn't be happening because the firearm industry has done nothing.
Glock's attorneys have repeatedly tried to get Minnesota's lawsuit thrown out, at one point claiming a federal shield law provides Glock with federal immunity from even having to present a defense.
Their position is that we don't even get to bring this case. We, of course, believe not only
When Lekka Menon is lecturing Americans on what they can and can't own or what companies should and shouldn't be able to do, I'm not interested in perpetuating the system that allows her to have input over what me, my family, and my children and my progeny are able to do. Not interested, Miss Lekka Menon.
we get to bring the case, but that we have a really good and important case to bring.
A state judge in Minnesota refused to dismiss the lawsuit against Glock last summer, citing evidence of misleading and deceptive marketing campaigns, like this one, which the state says glorifies the fully automatic use of a Glock.
So they're advertising a product that they cannot sell to the general public.
So I can't show you that to you guys, but there was one real Glock 18 being featured, which is, of course, fully automatic. It is a military LE only item. You know, civilians can't have it. But is that wrong to show military LE items? Like HK has a trailer for its you know, their LMGs. SIG shows off their LMGs, and it's like, but they're advertising a product that civilians can't get. Therefore, they're trying to tell you to convert your guns into a machine gun. It's like, no, you're, as far as I'm aware, you are allowed to show restricted products in your own promotional materials, especially since you're ostensibly promoting to military and LE when you do that. You know, it's not just about the civilian market.
Why?
And this social media post, which says the only thing more fun than a Glock.
And again, it's not about Glock switches. That's a real factory Glock 18, which is by definition a restricted item. You know, it's LE military only. It's the same thing as if like I was a SWAT team and I showed off our breaching charges or something. And I was like, dude, look how cool this is. Look how much fun this is. I'm not selling that. It's just me showing a restricted device. You know, it's like airplane companies showing advertisements for airplanes or something. And they're like, oh, but this could be easily converted into a Allahu Akbar situation. Okay.
Is a full auto Glock.
Fun doesn't justify having a weapon of mass destruction on our streets.
Weapons of mass destruction. See, that's the thing, man. I gotta admit, you know, I feel really bad for you because you lost your son to the hands of animals. But at the same time, then you're like, you know what, John? You shouldn't be able to defend yourself from such animals in the future. And I kind of lose some of my empathy for you because I understand what you are. You are dragging your son's corpse through the mud and saying, look, we must restrict your rights. You know, as the monkeys are dancing, hooping, and hollering in the background, and you're trying to lecture me on what I should and shouldn't be able to defend myself with.
He should advocate for stronger homicide laws.
Yeah. Not interested, mister. I think you kind of spent up all the empathy dollars I had stockpiled.
The lawsuit against Glock now moves into the discovery phase, meaning that the company could possibly have to hand over internal records and be subject to questioning under oath. However, it could still be a year or more before a trial takes place. For the Fox 9 investigators, I'm Nathan O'Neill.
And again, they're never going to stop. They're never going to stop pushing to remove your rights. They're never going to address the root cause. Never, ever, ever, ever going to do that. They do not care about you. They do not care about morality, about. They have no universal principles that they're operating from. Nothing like that. Okay. These people are your enemy. They wish to see you deplatformed, depersoned, disarmed. These people are evil. They are against you, and it is in your best interest to remove them from power and install people who will actually protect you and yours and your people. Okay, that should be your goal in life: is to remove these people from power so that you can protect the future of your family, your community, and your country. And yeah, 6% of black people in Minnesota commit 62% of all violent crime. Why don't we just punish them? They're 6% of the population doing devastating amounts of damage to our streets. Maybe we should be done with that. Well, maybe a little bit of a lighter story, okay, to kind of drop our blood pressure. Drop our blood pressure like a leaky butt of a Secret Service agent. Okay. A Secret Service agent assigned to Jill Biden shot himself in the buttocks. Awkward. We reported on this the other day. He was in the mobile entourage for the former First Lady when a shot went off, his own service weapon. And we didn't know exactly the circumstances as to how it happened, but now we have the full details. The full details. You heard me, Cody. You heard me. A real pain in the butt. The Secret Service agent who accidentally fired his gun while guarding the former First Lady, Jill Biden, last week shot himself in the buttocks. Not a good way. Man, getting shot in the butt, it's probably not the most dangerous, because it's usually it's fatty and there's nothing like too major going on. But not being able to sit down for like weeks wouldn't be very fun. The Secret Service agent. Maybe a long time ago. The
opening scene, they're fighting the KKK, supposedly running meth, and one of the guys gets shot in the ass. And the main side effect that he has a problem with is he can't get an erection for weeks afterwards.
What's the correlation there?
You said that there's not much there that can cause damage, and it was funny that Bad Boys.
Well, right. No, but what is getting shot in the butt equals no erection? I don't follow. I don't know how that logically follows.
I'm not sure, but I thought it was funny.
Okay. The agent's non-life-threatening injury following the negligent discharge at Philadelphia International Airport was initially described as a leg wound by the Secret Service. When he tried to holster the gun, he shot himself, yes, right in the butt cheek. Real Clear Politics reporter Susan Crabtree, unfortunate name, wrote on X, asked about Crabtree's reporting. A Secret Service spokesman told the Post, it is accurate that the agent suffered an unintentional, self-inflicted gunshot wound to his hip area. The spokesman noted that an additional claim reported by Crabtree that the agent was using a flashlight on his firearm to search for a misplaced cell phone was not what was reported to us from the scene. Now, again, this is one lady's claim, and I did see this floating around, is that he dropped his phone in the car, kind of dark in there with the tinted windows and all. So, well, usually your phone is your flashlight. And if you're a Secret Service, you think you'd be carrying a supplemental flashlight, right? I mean, come on, you're prepared for everything. You're literally the Secret Service. You're a VIP, although we've seen these VIP protection guys be absolute retards. You think you would have a supplemental flashlight. Instead, you're like, I'm going to grab my firearm and point it around at my feet and whoever else is here in the car real fast and find my phone. And then in so doing so, you find your phone. Great, fantastic. Go to reholster at the 3 o'clock position, I imagine. And then bam, right into your cheek. Now, again, that's only what's being reported. And that's actually a reasonable explanation. Because otherwise, why was the gun out? Why was your finger in the trigger guard? Was it a 320? We need more details here to fully understand the situation. Man, losing your phone is a pain in the ass. Sometimes. All right. Philadelphia police told CBS Philadelphia that the gun went off while the agent was in an unmarked Chevrolet SUV. Biden was not present at the time of the incident, which did not impact the former First Lady's movement, the agency said last Friday. No other injuries were reported. Now, I am interested. Was Jill Biden in the car, or is it just in a different car? Because imagine you're, an elderly lady. Okay, I think she's in her 70s now. At least in her 70s now. And, you're just sitting in the back seat. You got a Secret Service man driving, one in the passenger seat, probably one in the car with you, And he's like, oh, excuse me, I need to pick up my phone. And then the next thing, your ears are ringing and, am I under attack? What's going on? You're just an old, kind of confused lady. And then the Secret Service agent's butt is splurting onto you from the gaping wound in his ass cheek, and you're like, oh, I'm covered in blood and I don't know what to do, and it's loud and it's smoky, what's going on? Like, just think about the scenario here of you're in the backseat with Jill Biden, you're leaking out of your butt, it's loud, you don't know exactly what's happening, she's freaking out. It's a total disaster. Now, hopefully she wasn't actually in the car with the guy and it was in one of the entourage vehicles, but yeah, 'tis but a flesh wound. True. Well, it's flirting. Like, I don't like, there's a lot of surface area down here, So if you got a 9mm sized hole going through a good chunk of flesh, where did that come from? I'm about to die. Richard, entertain the audience. Come on.
I tried earlier.
Well, listen, I'm still laughing about that because it's like, I got shot in the butt. I can't get an erection. It's like,
no, dude,
how?
If you hadn't seen the movie, it's a running joke for.
No, I get that, but I don't know. It's like, I'm so mad I'm shot in the butt. I can't get an erection. It's like, you got, why?
And it was his own partner who shot him in the ass. So I thought that the story pertained to this.
I mean, maybe it's because of the pain as a turnoff.
Well, nerves.
Yeah. You missed it, Jake. Dude, we played the entire music video because Moon Man donated $100 to see those toes wiggle. Jake, you should be quite happy. You should be enthralled at the audience that your toes have. Now, listen, guys, we're getting into the wacky part of the stream where you're going to wish that we were listening to Big Toe Money or King Jake for 2.5 minutes, okay? Because, jump scare, Christy Nome and her husband? Listen, as implied in the thumbnail, Christy Nome and her husband have got a lot of work done. Maybe a little too much, not really even tasteful. It's a little much. It's a little ostentatious, a little gaudy. Yeah. So Christy Nome responded Tuesday to a report published by the Daily Mail and New York Post claiming that her husband, Byron Nome, secretly lives a cross-dressing double life, saying in a statement that the family was caught completely off guard by the story.
Really?
That would be her face right now. Like, obviously, it's like, excuse me, a little back up a little bit, invading my personal space. But that would also be my reaction if somebody I knew led a secret cross-dressing lifestyle. I'd be like, I draw the line at toes. Okay, toes are okay. Whatever this guy's got going on, not okay. Not okay. Erica Kirk eyes. He was jealous of her boob job. Yeah. Listen, the before and after of Christy Nome it might as well be a different person, okay?
It is.
The family was blindsided by this, Nome said, according to the New York Post, which first published her response. The Daily Mail published photographs and explicit messages. It says, document Byron Nome, her husband, privately adopting a female persona. All right, this is degeneracy maxing here. If you had to find out somebody in your life is degenerate, cross-dressing or furry?
Who is the person?
Well, let's say let's say in this case, it's your brother. Okay, so your brother is like either a furry, but still masculine, or cross-dressing and pretending to be a female.
The
And I think
worst
I'm with
one-
Chud. I actually think furry in this case, because at least they're mentally deranged and insane and they need to be in an asylum. But at least then they haven't given up like their masculinity in a way.
Yeah, I would say furry, because then I can just invite them to go hunting.
Listen, okay, it was an honest mistake. He was in his deer costume. He was in season. Technically, my tag is valid, officer. Furry is worse. See, most people are going with furry. Furry brother or femboy brother. Yeah, it's rough. Wear your bunny ears. I don't have bunny ears. That could be funny, though, to have like a cat ear. Because PewDiePie used to have those cat ear headphones. Be funny. Be playing into the meme a little bit too much.
On your ear pro for the range.
I could. Again, it's like one of those funny things. It's because people would freak out about it. That would be the funny, like the reaction to it would be funny, not the thing itself. Furry, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I think furries. Like a masculine furry, not a cross-dressing, male to female nightmare, but a masculine furry. Yeah, Oxide's just the worst of all worlds there. The Daily Mail published photographs. Yeah, national security experts cited in the reporting that raised concerns that the alleged hidden life could have exposed Kristi Noem to potential blackmail during her tenure as Secretary of Homeland Security. She was also a pick for vice president. She was in the running for vice president. And like all of these people have horrible, degenerate things that they're hiding because, in my opinion, a significant amount of Congress, the Senate, and even the presidency is compromised, right?
I don't see
They
how she
have
would have been in the
disgusting
running for
blackmail.
VP.
Well, remember, Nancy Pelosi was doing gay butt stuff with Hammer Dude, allegedly, right? And so there's every one of these people is weird, degenerate, evil. And I really doubt that she didn't know, when the quintuple F, like fake boobs are lying on the bed and you're like, oh, what are those for, honey? It's like you just don't know. I don't know. I don't believe
really,
you.
really weird theory on this one, and I think that it's a power dynamic. I think
Again,
the wife
maybe.
is
Well, I
forcing
think there's
him-
also probably a lot of this is like lavender marriages too, where it's like gay dudes get married to a woman to keep up appearances, right, and to be more normalized in society. Also, Kristi Noem, former governor of my state. Yeah, whether it's like a lavender marriage where it's meant to keep up appearances, or whether it's some sort of power dynamic fetish, like gross, degenerate, disgusting, get out of my country, please and thank you. So Byron Noem, 56, was raised in Hamlin County, South Dakota, where his family operated a farm. Maybe, oh no. Hopefully it wasn't a milk farm. He and Kristi met as teenagers at Hamlin High School in the late 1980s and married in Watertown, South Dakota, ceremony 1992. Watertown is a beautiful little place, okay? If you ever want to go to like a quintessential small South Dakota town, got a little river running through it, some really nice parks, Watertown is actually quite nice. It's very clean as well. But yeah, tragic. Now, let's see. Allegedly, he was busted for playing around with a undocumented immigrant, which is funny considering that Kristi Noem was the, border security individual. Kristi Noem's husband wasn't busted because of his degenerate and vile behavior. He was busted because his illegal immigrant whore had a personal vendetta against his wife. Many morals to that story. So again, the Daily Beast says an undocumented immigrant may have been the one to leak damning information about Noem's husband. A White House staffer White House reporter, has claimed an unexpected source may have been behind exposing the alleged alter ego of former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's husband. Axios reporter Mark Caputo revealed that he had been given a tip last month about Byron Noem's busty bimbo alter ego before the Daily Mail reported on it, his cross-dressing habits on Tuesday. Yeah, I got a weird lead. A source texted me February 13th. The veteran reporter posted, they said an immigrant sex worker, possibly in the country illegally, wanted to go public about Noam's husband using her services online, and it was vengeance for DHS's immigration enforcement. Imagine that. Maybe this is why she got reassigned. Actually, this is probably why she got reassigned, is because they knew that this stuff was going to come out, and so they got her off of DHS and into somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? She got reassigned. Is because all this stuff was coming out.
And
so
happened at
imagine that.
night.
You're an illegal immigrant, sex worker. Again, I don't even want you to leave the country at that point, right? We can just dispose of you here. But you're an illegal immigrant sex worker, and you see the husband of your sworn enemy using your like golden ticket, right? If you're this individual, you see the husband of your enemy using your services. Golden ticket. If true. And again, I don't really want to focus on these images because they're just really gross and disgusting and disturbing. And again, oh, sorry, I thought that was a single image. I did not want. I was trying to click on the wholesome image of them together. Not so much the case. That was a singular collage there. Tragic. Now, also, this goes multiple ways. So, and this kind of points to me to be some sort of like lavender marriage of convenience or something else. Something else is going on here. So, Christy Noam Rep says the family was blindsided by revelations of Byron's cross-dressing and asks for prayers at this time. Buried in the article, Byron Noam addresses and confirms his wife's affair with Corey Lewandowski. So, again, the wife is cheating with this dude, Corey Lewandowski, of a security guy, a CIA guy, intelligence guy for a while.
He was the Trump campaign manager and had some prestigious position in the cabinet, but he's always been a questionable character, to say the least.
Right. So she's banging him, and then she gets into the second administration, which is interesting. Maybe she's, on her knees pleading for a position, as they say. So she's banging him while he's banging undocumented immigrants, and then she gets promoted after she fails the vice presidency because she killed a dog. She gets the, DHS, and then he gets outed as banging the illegals that she's trying to get rid of. I'll look up Corey's roster generational run of women. That's maybe multi-generational run of women, considering how old they are, I guess. No, women, am I right? And listen, it's like, who am I supposed to feel bad for in this situation? The children, that's it. I pray that the children would get the full support of their extended family. It's like Christy Noam. I mean, you already broke your marriage vows, and your husband's breaking his. You both need to be put in some sort of, I don't know, a Christian camp somewhere where you can learn to be normal people and somebody can take care of your kids and not be ashamed to share your bloodline. Like, damn.
I don't know who it was, but somebody in chat pointed out that he's leaning into her, and looking at the picture, she's leaning away.
Yeah, it's the thing where the woman's standing straight or leaning away and the man's leaning in. It happens a lot. Many such cases, and I mean, he's already adopting a feminine persona online in certain areas, so him being a bit feminine and her banging other dudes who, are more Chad-like, I guess. Is Corey Lewandowski a Chad? Like, I don't know. But yeah, it's the meme, right? You're with the guy for convenience because he's nice, he's actually gay, and then you bang the other guy because he actually fulfills you in like a more physical way, I guess. Weak men suck, women suck. Okay, that's just the moral of the story. Do not be involved. Do not be a weak man. That first off, gentlemen, that will solve a lot of your problems. Do not be a weak man, and do not seek out women like this, okay? Hypergamous women that have these desires and this, yeah, career women, boss babes, no thank you. No thank you. He's also leaning into being a woman. Good point. Now, it's not all bad news. It's not all bad news, okay? There are some places that have a little bit of normalcy bias, I guess you could say. The Supreme Court has ruled 8-1. Guess who was the one? Against Colorado banning conversion therapy for minors. Now, conversion therapy is a hotly debated topic, but in my opinion, it is like, I don't know how it could be anything other than moral to try and retain a level of normalcy in your child's life to reinforce positive positive actions, positive habits, and try to save them from a life of degeneracy in the worst way possible. I mean, if we can cut up child's genitalia and call that kosher, pun intended, then I think we can also be like, hey, kids, we should follow a much more normal, traditional lifestyle and try to have some positive indoctrination in this way. If we're going to allow child genital mutilation, which we shouldn't at all, we should ban that entirely, both physical and chemical, all of that, get rid of all of that. But if we're going to allow that, then certainly we have to say, well, maybe there's an alternative that you just don't have these, we don't do this to you, okay? We have some positive stereotype reinforcing, okay? We provide you with a fatherly figure and some masculinity or some femininity, or try to save you from a life of degeneracy and perversion. But yeah, good for them. Bad for KBJ, of course. Now, here's another one that kind of ties in with what we were talking about earlier. We have Irina Zarutska. She has a mural going up in, I believe, Providence, Rhode Island. And the mayor of the town wants it taken down because it does not support their values. It does not encapsulate what they want in society. The mural of a young, murdered refugee, you'd think would encapsulate all of the left's values. It's a displaced person. It's a refugee from a real war. However, unfortunately for Irina, she's white, and we don't really care about white people, and we certainly don't want them on murals. We certainly don't want to remember the fact that we murdered her. We don't want to do that because honestly, it makes the black community uncomfortable when we have murals highlighting their crimes. So it'd be better if we removed
she
her.
Said that the mayor said that the mural was divisive. And she said
she
that
is a
right after
murdered woman, murdered
she
by
said that
an
the mural
animal.
was divisive before it was even halfway finished. Like, it had just gotten started, and she's like, "No, it's the mural is divisive."
Yeah, Lena was just up tacticooler. Sorry, I don't make the choices around here. But no, calling it divisive in some way. Why is it divisive? It's only divisive because you don't care about white people getting murdered. You can shove St. George Floyd in every classroom across the country. You can elect statues and murals, and you can send a guy to jail for 5 years who never even touched the dude, right? Never even physically interact with George Floyd, but he can get 5 years in jail for merely being involved or something. What he is a political prisoner. Derek Chauvin and all of them are political prisoners. But again, having a mural for a murdered refugee because she happens to be white is too much for the city to bear. And now, this Representative David Morales, I love Morales so much. I love it when they tell me who should and should not encapsulate my communities, what my values are. And of course, here's Kirsche. I believe him when he says this. They want criminals on the street and they want people dead. Now, Kirsche is close. She's very close there when she says that. It's the certain types of people. It's they want blacks and Hispanics, or just really non-whites. It's really just non-whites. When it boils down to it, it's whites are the oppressor, and anybody who's not that is the oppressed, right? And so they want the oppressed versus unoppressed dynamics, which is just totally inherently anti-white, hate white people. They want people who destabilize, demoralize, murder the oppressor class, which happens to be us. They want them out and about because they are doing their job, and they want white people dead, specifically. And again, they don't even particularly care about the communities themselves. Like black on black violence, black on brown violence, they don't really care about that much, but they prefer black on white violence. And they will do anything to protect the perpetrators of those crimes, again, because it is the oppressor dynamics that they are feeding into here. Anyways, Mr. Morales, lecture me, please, on how your thoughts and opinions on what's divisive and what's not.
Ultimately, we want to make sure that every community member that calls Providence home feels safe. And we can both agree that this mural behind us does not reflect Providence's values, nor does it reflect the creativity that we want to see in our city. Ultimately,
it's white. It's white. Arena's white. Are Slavs white? For the purpose of this discussion, Slavs are white. Like, for the purpose of this discussion, Italians are also white. For the purpose of this discussion. Listen, when we fix 99% of society's issues, 95% of society's issues, we can go back to, Scottish people hating English people, French people being bitches, Irish people kind of being subhuman, Italians like white-ish, right? Once we fix like 90 to 95% of society's issues, we can go back to having these finer discussions between the rest of us, right?
Ultimately, we want to make sure that every community member that calls Providence home feels safe.
What if white people felt safer if there were less murderers on trains and public transportation? Well, that would be racially profiling and discriminatory, so we actually don't care if they feel safe. It's really just about not offending black people.
And we can both agree that this mural behind us does not reflect Providence's values, nor does it reflect
mid-swing with emphasis. Yeah, that's much more creative. Much more creative. And again, this is actually true. Wuxen just, I don't even know who this guy is, just a random Twitter account that I thought had a good point, says their values is why she's dead in the first place, which is correct. They want to be lax on crime and criminals, again, as long as they're a specific race. And so her being dead is a necessary conclusion or a necessary continuation of their belief system. So her being dead is what they want. Her being remembered as a martyr, as an important figure in this whole discussion, is the opposite of what they want. They do not want you to talk about her, remember her, say her name, anything like that, because that goes against their desires and their plan for you. Now, spoiler alert, the mayor is a gay Jew. Awkward timing there. The Rhode Island mayor who demanded the mural of Arena be removed. The jokes write themselves, but it is a gay Jewish man defending the poor, minorities who are offended that a mural to a beautiful young white woman who was murdered is erected in the city,
this makes
demanding
sense.
it get taken down.
After looking at Morales' shirt, I'm going to bet that he's the boyfriend.
It's very possible. Very, very possible. Yes, not beating the stereotypes. C'est la vie. Anyways, how about other stereotypes? Another teen takeover in Hyde Park neighborhood on Chicago South Side last night. Several teenagers were arrested. Teenagers. I hate teenagers. Do we have audio? Where's audio?
Man, they ain't even doing nothing.
They ain't doing nothing.
They simply is just outside having a good time. Black kids can't have a good time without them being.
Can you have a good time out here, though? She don't want to do nothing, man. Is it the big lips that allow them not to enunciate any words at all, or what's the situation here?
I thought it was the IQ, but could be both.
They ain't even doing nothing. They simply is just outside having a good time. Black kids can't have a good time without them being bothered.
Well, it's not really about the good time. It's about the theft and the thievery and the rapes and the murders. It's really that. That's really the problem here. It's not really about a good time.
It's
about
hot
the
outside.
vandalism and the property damage.
We ain't got no community centers over here.
Well, that's the thing. You trash the community centers. Anytime there's a public space around certain ethnics, they just get destroyed and trashed, right? Because they don't take care of their own lives. They don't take care of their own houses. They don't take care of their own infrastructure. There's never been a successful black country without Western intervention. Of course, they're not going to maintain any public spaces that we give them. It is literally just us giving them things and then them destroying it.
crazy. That, yeah. Racism in Chicago, y'all. What they getting locked up for? They ain't even did nothing.
See, but this is the thing. They reflexively cry out racism when they encounter any accountability for their actions. They define racism as any accountability for their actions. And so when I say I just want them to be held to a same standard as the rest of us humans, then they're just going to say, well, that's racist. If you hold us accountable for our actions, then that's racist. Well, if we're going to define the terms that way, then I agree, and I would like as much racism as possible, okay? If racism equals accountability for your actions, maximum racism. If misogyny equals accountability for women, maximum misogyny, okay? If we want to define our terms this way, that's fine. I'll just grant you your position. Anyways, maximum racism, the dial for racism, could we turn that up, please? Can we get more of this? Can we get more accountability? Oh, I'm sorry, racism, please? Yeah, that Chase Bank sweats every night when the Nazis come up behind the lady at night. No, that's not it. I'm glad it's underwater now.
Why they ain't gonna say what they just said? Why they getting quiet now? Because the camera out?
I mean, and literally, this is Chicago. They're crying about racism in Chicago as if they don't have black police chiefs, black police officers, black entirely ethnic staffs in a lot of these places.
Excuse me, sir. I think you mean MAGA country?
Yeah, MAGA, Chicago, famous MAGA country, true. As if they don't have like their own people in all positions of power, but even like the minimal facade of accountability or rule and order is racism to them. And I agree, because it is really racist of us to enforce European societal norms on non-Europeans, right? This isn't the way they were supposed to live. This is not normal to them. This is not how they would structure their own societies. And we are forcing them to live in a nominally European system with things like rule and order and two-story buildings and running water and electricity and stuff like that. So this is really outside of their norm. So, I mean, in a way, it is racism, yes. Western society, rule of law is enforcing racism and many other things. And again, it's just up to you whether you think that's a good thing or not. Now, again, you can just see these situations, these teens who didn't do nothing, mind you, being mildly held accountable for their actions. Oh, is there no audio for this clip? Tragic. But you can see them, not doing anything to a person on the ground there. Now, hopefully this is a blue-on-blue violent situation, so we don't have to care that much. But it's a bunch of teens around, just curb stomping on a Tuesday night in Chicago. Why not? It's fun. You guys didn't go to your group curb stompings on Tuesday night? White people don't season their streets with the blood of their ops? White season don't season they hood with the blood of their ops? Shit, man. Oh, he leaking. Yeah, you see teens like this, you just leave. Whatever you can do to drag, kicking and screaming anyone that you want to survive the situation, you get them away from there immediately. Because again, who knows how many of these thugs have a Glock with the switch in their pocket, in their backpack, in their pants or whatever, right? And so they're going to pull it out, they're going to shoot at the op, and it's going to go way over there, and it's going to murder an innocent passerby whose only crime was being around these types of individuals, as we saw earlier in the show. You just got to leave. You can't be around these types of people, and you have to stop them from coming to your areas. Yeah, like moths to the flame. They see it's like monkey noises attracting monkey noises. Something. It's like, what's over there? I gotta go over there. What's over there? I gotta go over there. Huh, that's crazy. What's over there? All coagulating together. Chicago is basically Mordor these days. Yeah, I think the orc rhetoric, and again, there's police officers there, but what are like 5 or 6 police officers? Like, there's literally somebody getting curb stomped like 40 yards away, and they're like, There's 100 U's in between me and one individual getting curb stomped. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm actually going to back up. I wonder if there's a good freeze frame of one of these. The female officer. Yeah, female officer.
Looking
Like,
and walking
listen,
away.
I go in there, I get raped. I get killed if I go in there. No thanks. And the other officer is like, do I really have to deal with like this guy? This guy's life is hell. This is a good man who probably grew up here, who probably loves his city in some way. You know, maybe his father was from here, his grandfather was from here, and he sees what it becomes, and his life has got to be hell. Imagine fighting in a place like this for decency and normalcy. Even if you arrest somebody, even if you put them away, a Chicago judge is going to let them out the next day. Doesn't matter what they do, stabbings, rapes, arson, whatever it is. He's going to be back out on the streets. Listen, blacks have like a 70 arrest window before they actually face real consequences. So most of them are just going to go through hearings and jails and let off in probation and violate probation. It's just going to be over and over again until eventually they do something bad enough where they secure minor accountability for their actions.
You were saying this guy probably born here, loves his community, and wants to actually make a change. And then look who they stick him with for a partner too, and where they put.
Oh, of course, he's set up to fail. Like, realistically, what is he supposed to do against this mob?
Observe and report.
They're observers watching the fall of their empire, okay? The barbarians are in the city, and we are, for some reason, supporting them. You know, that's the thing. Imagine, like, I mean, in a lot of ways, we are like late stage Rome. We've invited the rest of the empire in. We've invited the barbarians in. They've set up their own enclaves. They're burning down our infrastructure. They hate us for some reason, even though we're kind to them, even though we let them in because Attila the Hun was burning down their lands and we let them in. Funny story, though. After Attila the Hun did his thing and we accepted the Romans accepted the Goths and other people into their country. Within one generation, they had murdered the empire and the emperor and burned down Rome. So, yeah, it doesn't take a lot of time because the fundamental truth throughout all of human history is very groundbreaking. It's people are different.
If you'd like to,
That's
loop
it.
Back, circle back to the Keith Ellison story. I dropped an interesting picture in Discord for you. Thought you might like that.
Oh, I mean, it's not that interesting to me just because these people are psychotic and evil and they will absolutely use any sort of like Marxist, Leninist playbook, like the Solinsky trap, basically always accuse your enemy of what you're doing type thing. But I mean, this absolutely checks out to me. So Keith Ellison having the anti-fascist playbook while allowing murderers to go free, while punishing good, moral, law-abiding citizens for the actions of blacks. Right? Of course. I mean, these people are, again, as I said, when we were talking about them earlier, stupid or evil, I don't care. I don't care. His actions are evil, and I'm not going to allow him to get off the hook based on simple incompetence. You also, guess what? The accountability / racism / misogyny dial going to max. Okay, Mr. Ellison, I'm turning up the dial to 11. That's what it's got to be. Sorry, bro, I do make the rules. All right, I don't know, dude. There was a couple other stories. Like, I mean, I'll show this on screen because this is retarded. This is who's judging right now. Pennsylvania ex-con 27, who's been jailed 3 times, turns over a new leaf to become the state's youngest ever judge. You think you're going to get a fair trial? You think whatever that perpetrator does, he stole, he thefted, he raped, he murdered, he's going to be getting off while you are going to be held to a very high standard. You think you're going to get a fair trial with this guy? Imagine you get into a fight with a black guy and it's completely justified, your actions of self-defense, whatever it might be. And this is your judge?
You know what happens from here, right? In 6 months, he's going to get arrested. And he's going to pull the "Do you know who I am" card. That's exactly.
I would hope so. I would sincerely hope so that he could be removed from his positions. But no, part of the take back or the reformation of America will be the complete gutting of all judges and public figures. Right? It will, like, in a very systematic process, it will necessarily require most of them being removed from office legally. YouTube, of course, that's what we would advocate here, but that just will be. If there is going to be some sort of reformation in America, some sort of new order, return to order, you could say, it will require the removal peacefully, legally, of all these judges and politicians in places of power. That's just how it is. Or at least that's the ideal. That would be the ideal. Over on Rumble, Bushmaster for 5 says, remember, rookie, real G's move in silence like lasagna. Dutch, October 2552. Base, yeah, real G's move in silence. That's good. Oh, I missed this earlier. I'm very sorry, but Baseball Kid for $20 on Rumble says, of course, I missed the last stream where Jake was on it. New Big Toe Money song, please. Well, I can give you like 20 minutes of it, or not 20 minutes. Oh my gosh. $1 a minute. Whoa, dude, I can't last 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I can give you like 30 seconds of it, okay? Because I think the people want it. I'll give it to you. $20 is $20. Am I right? I'm right.
Jake in the kitchen, rib on the kid, pan on the flame. Cross on his neck like a blade, eyes locked in, unashamed. Yeah! School lunch packed, then he straps boots tight, clock in, clock out, then he hunts all night. Sees filth in the feed, he delete that quick. Whole world twisted, he don't bend, don't flinch. One hand on the stroller, other hand clean his streets. On his face, got scars, on his tongue, got heat. Single dead saga, still he walks straight lanes.
Sorry, I went through the first chorus. I know that was way longer than 30 seconds, but hey, $20 is $20, guys. Come on. Zany for 2 says, I will play Big Toe Money through the AirPods when running stages. That's a good idea. It's a good idea. Pump you up, dude. Your hits will be bad, but the toes will be there. BCS 1488 for 5 says nothing, drops 5 on the table and walks away. Well, we thank you very much, BCS. Hope you're having a good night out there. Sheep Herder for 2 says, John did that money math very quickly, very Jewish coded. No, so I'm just really good at arithmetic. I'm really fast at arithmetic. You know, my wife is not that she's, you know, dumb or anything like that. Of course, I love my wife very much. But there are certain people that I'm around that are very slow at like arithmetic, basic, you know, multiplication, stuff like that. And they just can't do it in their head. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? You know, now I have some very smart descendants. Okay. Very, very smart descendants. My father has a 160 IQ. And my grandfather was a nuclear engineer in the Manhattan Project. So I do have very, very intelligent forefathers. I myself don't think I'm particularly intelligent, but I am fast when it comes to like math and stuff like that.
Yeah, same here. I come from some fairly intelligent people. My dad worked on the Artemis program, and my grandfather was a tool and die maker for 40 plus years, and I'm just some basic retard, but I am good at math.
Yeah, it's a good skill to have. Thank you, Sheep Herder. Appreciate it. Bull Shark for 10 says, real talk. What all did you swap on your Scar? I did the 12 position gas regulator, trigger, buffer, spring, and pad, and have the rear buffer bracket screws ovaled at all. So no, I did the 12 position, the discarder, I think is what it's called. I did that. I think the spring can be really important as well. There's a buffer. That's good. And that's really about it. I mean, the trigger sucks on the Scar, the stock trigger. So as long as you have the new Scar trigger or the Geisley Scar trigger, you're going to be fine. The only other thing to do with that is I think it's like King's Armory or something like that. They have the internal buffered and lightened Scar bolt. It's like $700 though. That's the only other thing that's going to do it. And that essentially is what the Scar Gen 2 has, is it has that internal lightened buffered bolt, where the bolt itself has a little, it's either spring or hydraulic buffer on the back end of it. So that's the only other upgrade you could do. But honestly, I think with the discarder, with the spring and buffer, I think it's pretty damn good at that point. Like, it's okay at that point. I don't think you need to do anything else. So, thank you, Bull Shark. Appreciate it. My buddy doesn't like the Jizzle Scar trigger. It's oddly mushy. Well, Mitzvot, even if it's bad, it's in comparison to the stock trigger, it's got to be better, because the stock Scar trigger is like an 8-pound mil-spec feeling trigger. Like, it feels like a mil-spec, like an AR mil-spec trigger, but worse. Like, they took a regular mil-spec AR trigger and you're like, that's not heavy enough. That's not gritty enough. Make it heavier and grittier, please. You know?
The only trigger that I felt that's crunchier than that was a Taurus Spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely other triggers out there that are worse than the Scar trigger, but for a $3,000 rifle,
that's what I'm
please
saying.
make it better. Please, you know. Ronnie D for 2 says, hot take, shitty tolerance, call it friction delay. I've always thought about that, because there are times where a gun, I mean, that's what a roller delay is, or some of these other systems, they're increasing friction, you know.
That's what the Bush principle was coefficients of different metals having different friction and lubricity properties. That's what the original Thompson was based on, was a friction delay.
Well, and I thought about this as like a very novel way to reduce carrier speed, is to have a channel cut into the bolt carrier, just a complete channel, like full length of the reciprocating cycle of action. And you have a channel in there. And what happens is there's a ball bearing and a detent that just applies a constant set pressure to your reciprocating mass. So it never moves, it never comes out, anything like that, but it just stays in there. And then as it cycles through, it always has that constant pressure against it that's slowing it down. So it's not like roller delay. It's like a friction, like reduced recoil blowback or something. I don't know. That's been something I've thought of that's like really simple that I've never seen somebody implement. All right. Thank you, Ronnie. Appreciate that. Logan sucks at shooting says the only good 416 is Klukai. Klukai? I think it's Klukai. Yes, she is. Especially the Cerulean Breaker outfit. That's a little too Gooner coded for me, Logan, but she is quite stacked. Yes, Kukai is very stacked. Thank you, Logan. Appalachia 8 for 10 says, it's so much worse than I thought. And before, actually, it's within acceptable standards for AK. The AK was designed to have terrible tolerances. Don't you know? Don't you know that the AK was designed to have terrible tolerances? Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I need the rocks to be able to fall out of the front sight.
True. Cody for 10 says, give me some Trey Knight Pitchfork Demon Attack to ease the pain you put us through listening to that Orange Wall Lover. Listen, I did. I gave it to you. We got the Trey Knight mixtape, okay? It's the only thing that comes close to big toe money. But for another 10, like, I'll give it to you again. Dude, there's going to be... Oh, dear. Thank you, Cody. Appreciate that. Chud for 2 says, hey, guys, this is Glock Switch. Just stole my car. Yeah, it's the Glock switches are out there in force tonight, aren't they? Thank you, Chud. Appreciate that. Sheepherder for 2 says, government incompetence? Let's play a game. Brown or Foyd? Both. In some cases, both, yes. Jury Seller for 10 says, no more use for her, and they leaked the blackmail. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair interpretation as well. You know, they reassign her, and she can't be vice president, so she's out of the loop, and she's going to be retired, and the administration is kind of dead in the water. Like, outside of Iran, the administration is not going to do anything. We're not going to get any more deportations. We're not going to get any more, like, good economic policies. The tariffs are, you know, I still don't know what's going on with them. We're going to see higher prices here in the US and we get war in Iran. Not what we voted for, not what some of you voted for, but it's what we get regardless. Thank you, Jury Seller. Dick Cheney's heart, remember, for 6 months, says, look up Corey's roster, generational run of women. Okay, so if I look up Corey Lewandowski roster, are you kidding me? Let's see. Are you kidding me? He has a public list of the women that he's banged? What?
That seems par for the course for politics these days.
Corey Lewandowski has released a list of the women that he's banged. What? That's a real thing that somebody keeps on hand? Just whip that out at family functions or something?
They run in different circles, remember.
They really do. They go to the parties I'm not invited to. Jeez. Bojangles for 5 says a vehicle with a mounted system in the back would solve issues like this. True. Thank you, Bojangles. Appreciate that. Lightsport for 2 says still live, rolling straight to the war stream. Is there a war going on? Are we hitting them again? It's Monday night. Don't we save those for Friday? Are we hitting Iran right now? We said we weren't. We literally just said we weren't, and now we're doing it again. Thank you,
Monday?
Lightsport. Appreciate that. It is no, it's Wednesday. Damn it.
It's Thursday for me.
Yeah, it'll be Thursday in 50 minutes. Chud for 2 says count your calories, macros, and hit the gym, gents. You know what? I got good news, okay? It is bench day for me. 5x5 bench for me, so it's a good day. Thank you, Chud. Appreciate that, gentlemen. All right, I think we're all caught up everywhere on everything. There was one that came in on Ko-Fi. It was anonymous, but thank you very much. I appreciate that. No message. Thank you. Richard, what do you got going on, homie?
Well, I was going to stream today, but storms put a dampening on that. We got flooded out, and I spent the day digging trenches and clearing drains and trying to pick up damaged cable lines and power lines and communication lines and stuff. It's good time. So I will hopefully be getting with you guys on Friday before stream, weather permitting, hopefully.
Okay, perfect. I dropped his link in the Rumble and in the YouTube chat. I'm going to put in a raid command for that one. There we go. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for hanging out with us on this Wednesday night. I know it's easy to get down about the state of the world, to get down about the future prospects. You know, we got war still looming in Iran. We got rumors of wars and all the other fun prophetic visions that we happen to be living through at the moment. But I do want to thank each and every one of you for being here. And I want to tell you that there is still hope for the future. The black pill, while tempting at times, both literally and metaphorically, with the color of some of our politicians, some of our thought leaders, some of our authorities in our life, while it is often enticing, I think is the wrong option. Because no matter what happens, in the end, we know that Christ is king. So I want to thank everybody for watching the video earlier today. It was a fun April Fool's video. It's good to actually, push something out that's not a live stream. I do want to get more videos out this year for sure. But we're going to be here along for the ride. You're not alone. You got somebody out there who's looking out for you. It's the top G, Jesus Christ. But with that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. God bless. Godspeed. Christ is king.
I am the geek, piping sandy cheeks, patty on the slab at the Krusty Krab flip, so the patties don't